My people, what's popping with you, man? And I see you guys in the chat talking about me because I'm late. I get it. My bad. I won't be late again. Psych, that's not the truth. I will be late again. That's not the truth. I will be late again. I got my man Savvy and Gammo over here in the chat, man. What's up with y'all? How y'all doing? Hopefully people are starting to heal a little bit. I went to a protest myself tonight, and it was pretty good. It was, you know, it actually wasn't even a protest. It was more of a rally to talk about some action plans and some action steps. So it actually turned out pretty good. The only thing that I wish that they would have did is passed out some literature, which I had said, hey, you need to pass out some literature, but we didn't end up passing out literature. You know what I mean? But it was good. It was real good, man. But we'll see. You know, everybody that attended has got to follow through. You know, that's going to be the thing. Can we follow through on some of the action plans that we put in place? Savvy Gammo, what's up with you, man? What's popping?
Chilling, Sim. Still working, so working on that, you know, work. So yeah, drank so much caffeine, I'm up. So let's get to it.
Nah, I feel you, man. Man. Look, man, I got some things that I really want to say in this episode. You know, obviously the first thing is in response to all of the racial unrest that we're dealing with right now. We can't settle. Don't settle, ladies and gentlemen. Don't settle. Don't be happy. Don't feel like you got results. Okay? Today, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison held a press conference, and he announced that all 4 police officers connected to the death of George Floyd are going to be charged. Remember the word charged. All right, Derek Chauvin, the ex-cop who pressed his knee to George Floyd's neck during an altercation that ended his life, will be charged with second-degree murder. Remember, he was charged with third-degree murder. He's now charged with second-degree murder, meaning that he meant it. He meant to do it, right? That's what they're charging him with, saying, yes, you meant to kill this man. That was your intent once you got into your altercation. If it was first-degree murder, it would have meant that he plotted it and he schemed it and he went to his house to murder him. Like those guys with Ahmaud Arbery should be charged with first-degree murder. All right? Because to me, I'm going to say that was their intentions when they went out there. But he's charged with second-degree murder. And then the 3 other officers that were there, they've been charged with second-degree murder, aiding and abetting second-degree murder. All right? So that's an update for today. So all 4 men are now charged. Getting the conviction is another thing. All right, we've got to get a conviction. But even yet still, let's say they're charged. We can't stop just because they're charged and we feel vindicated. If they get convicted, we can't stop just because they got convicted. Why? Because it's going to happen again. So we got to keep the pressure. We got to keep the pressure with short-term and long-term solutions. You know what I mean? Any of you two want to just jump in and add anything as in regards to these men being charged?
Absolutely. As we all know, justice is a process. You know, sometimes you see a headline and you think, this is good news. But really, all it is the start of something that should have been done correctly in the first place. And so what I would like to do is just remind people in context that all of the outcry and unrest was not a result only of just this one death, but of the over time, just the mounting cases over and over again where it seemed like justice had not been served. And so what you're seeing now is the cup had runneth over. And as a result, not only must we get justice in this case, but we must pursue justice in all of the previous cases and see if it is not possible to go back and find a true path to a righteous conclusion for all of these cases and families who have lost their loved ones to tragedy.
Yeah.
So we need to stay strong and stay thorough.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like I said, I went to a rally tonight, and it was a rally, plus we had, you know, some discussions about things. And one of the solutions that we came up with that we are going to we're going to present a countywide bill is to have a civilian patrol board that has disciplinary power. I don't know how, you know, listen, I'll keep you updated on how that goes. But you understand what I mean by a civilian patrol board, right? Right? You know, basically just a civilian board that will police the police. Because that's always the question. Who polices the police? Somebody, you know, one of these cops kills one of these black men, one of these black kids. The police do the investigation, right?
Yeah.
The police do the investigation.
Sorry to cut you off. So that actually touches upon why my favorite comic of all time is Watchmen, because the central theme of Watchmen is who watches the Watchmen. You know, power that goes unchecked must be checked.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know.
Real quick on that. So one, you know, the reason why I'm really hesitant, and I know I'm not saying any of you guys are celebrating, but just in a general over sense of being happy, because when you carry a case out like this, right, where you essentially put all the other officers as not co-defendants, complicit to the, you know, whatever the charges,
accomplices.
Thank you, accomplices. And then you have this guy being tried on, what is it, second degree? They said now.
Second degree.
Yeah.
Second degree. It's very hard, right? So one, you know, the prosecutor is going to be a prosecutor that's tied to the police. Big conflict of interest. That's why I was talking to you guys about having special prosecutors, federal prosecutors versus these guys, because obviously these prosecutors have very strong ties to the police unions and to the policemen themselves. So that's why a lot of these police brutality cases, when we look at them, it's like, oh, this should be open and shut. And the prosecutors might mistry them. They might pull in some BS charges just so they don't get hurt. You know what I mean? We've seen it. You know, I mentioned all the time, Ken Thompson, hero for the black people, blah, blah. Like we were just talking about before, he got all that stuff quelled down. And all he said was a recommendation. So we have to be very careful when we see kind of these populist type of, you know, yeah, we're going to charge this guy. Because again, think what this does. This also creates a precedent, right? Where if this goes through where the other people can be tried as accomplices, right? Now you're going to have it so that every other case is a precedent to do. Now, obviously how it's tried in certain courts, whatever, they don't have to go by it per se. But if a prosecutor wants to do that, now everybody's going to be like, well, what happened in Minnesota? They should be blah, blah, blah. And either it's going to be passed and other cops are going to skirt around it, other prosecutors, whatever, or they're going to try and these cops are going to be let off and it's not going to be what we think it should be. So I'm just saying we have to be very careful because they can play certain games. And also by the time they get the trial going on, you have to realize the economy might pick back up. In my eyes, a lot of these companies that allowed their stores, the big company, I'm not talking about small mom and pops, a lot of these big companies, they were losing money during the pandemic. So when you they can collect that insurance money, they collect 100% of it, they're good. Hey, steal the Apple laptop. We don't care. We'll track it and we'll get the insurance money. So if that picks back up, rest and be assured, because I remember I sent y'all the video yesterday on Times Square, and at one point it seemed like the police, they were looking at people literally looting, and then they chase. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So when the economy picks back up and things are back to normalcy, and then they come out this trial, that looting and stuff most likely will not go on when these corporations can make money more than what they'll get from the insurance payouts. So they're going to have all this rioting, this looting, the protesting. They'll have it quelled. So I'm just saying, let's just be very hesitant into thinking that what we're getting, and I'm not, you guys, I know you're not doing it. We discussed that you guys aren't doing it, but let's just be very careful because, like you said, Sim is a great word you use all the time. Tricknology. Trick knowledge. They will use trick knowledge to lure you in. Oh yeah, everything's going to change, and they'll give this guy some BS years. They might say, oh, we'll just give him a lesser charge, and he gets 5 years probation. You know what I mean? And then the next person could do it. And then also one last thing, and I'm not trying to go into conspiracy stuff because I have my thoughts in this, like third and fourth dimension type of stuff. But I'm very when Savvy said that this was like the cup that running over. I would just say be very cognizant of some forces who would want this to go out, because this isn't the most heinous police brutality case. It was filmed, but there have been other ones that have been probably even more heinous. You have to also in your head just question, why didn't those ones cause an upset? Why is it that when they were arresting people in Minnesota who were riding, they were coming from North Dakota? There are a lot of things at play that are behind the scenes, and I'm not gonna get too deep. But I just feel like I said, the world is a big stage. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, a lot of factions at play, source, that we look at it and we look on the face value is good. We think it's good. And it's like, bro, there's a lot of things going on and they're using black pain. I'm just saying, I'm not saying George Floyd is dead. He's gone. But there are a lot of things they can use to fool you into pushing to certain things. If you guys know what's called the Hegelian dialectic, I didn't get too deep into that. Let's be very cognizant. I just don't want us to get too happy because I already feel my bones. They're not going to give, like you just mentioned, a civilian board, right, Sim? In most, I think they came out with a stat, like in most police jurisdictions, they don't have that, right? They don't have something to oversee those police right now. I believe in, you said in, I always get your thing wrong. It's not PG County, it's not Montgomery. It's
Charles County, Maryland.
So it's a fairly small county. Like, it's not like New York. It's not like Kings County, New York. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you know what I mean? So that could be more doable, right? If you have a decent commissioner or whatever, you have a decent mayor, decent heads, yeah, police, because they know, all right, our policemen, yeah, there may be things in here and there, but we don't mind that. But in that situation where they have civilian police boards, trust and believe, they'll intimidate people.
No, it's not. No. We're not talking about a civilian police force.
No, police board, oversight, police board. I'm gonna say board, like a board that oversees a police, civilian board that oversees a police. I'm just saying, I hope it works because you're giving us great details about what's happened. I'm like, all right, I'm cautiously optimistic, but just remember, if they, like I just said to Savvy, if the police forces of America, who are largely obviously localized and regional, if they could get Obama to invite one of their racist cops to the White House, I'm just saying they have a lot of power. So let's just think, just critically think and be cautious as to what we're seeing around us. That's it. I ain't trying to kill anybody.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you have to, you got to take some action.
Agreed.
You got to take some action. If we get afraid that someone's gonna sabotage our action and then don't take none at all, that's then that's worse. So we've got to take some kind of action. You take the action and then and then move on from there and take more action if necessary and things like that. Where I live,
how do you encourage? Because we talked about this yesterday, and I like I said, the thing I'm going to do in regards to donating to some programs in Brooklyn, I'm waiting till everything dies down because I don't want it where the fever is hot and then it's like, all right, you know what I mean? And I know you're a consistent person, but how will you keep people reinvigorated? Like as the stuff starts to die down, things go back to normalcy, especially when the economy picks back up and people get jobs again. People are going to forget about this, especially a lot of these non-black people.
I mean, part of it is everyone is not going to be able to help write the bill. Everyone, we had, 1,500 people out where we were, right? All 1,500 people are not going to be able to write the bill. It's going to take 10 people. 5 to 10 people that are going to be able to sit down and be able to, okay, let's map out this bill. Okay. And then you got to present it to, whoever you got to present it to. I spoke to the president of the county commissioners and he's already on board for it. Now, obviously he doesn't have the final say. You know what I mean? But then when it's finally a bill, Now you have to go back out to the people and say, you got to have people that's got to work it now, right? You got to have people that's got to go out and say, hey, here's this bill. Remember you came to this rally and we talked about having a civilian patrol board. We talked about stopping the local police from being able to buy military weapons. And we talked about having body cameras. And we talked about State Bill 7106. Remember we talked about those things? Well, now we need you, right? We need your voice now. We need you again. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's going to break down to a smaller group. And that smaller group has to put that work in. You know, it has to be a small, you know, smaller dedicated group that's going to write up the bill and do those type of things. There'll be some town hall meetings on it, on some of the things that should go in. You know, there'll be several different draft forms that come out.
So can I ask this about that, Sim? Sorry to cut you off. What you're saying in spirit, I agree with you 1,000%. Are there, and this is maybe the cynical side, this is the evil side of me, right? But in your space, do you have anything that, like, do you know any of his enterprises, any of his businesses where you can direct people and say, if he doesn't do so and so and so, we are not going to mess, do not go to that store anymore. Do not mess with this enterprise. Do not support this business that he may be connected to, that he may, because a lot of people, these politicians, they get their funding, right? They get the support from blocks of businesses, right? And one way you can control them to hold their field of fire against him is to say, hey, because what you're saying is, in theory, yes, hey, remember when you said this? But we know politicians, they talk out of both sides of their mouth.
I know, but I mean, you have to, I think what I would challenge anyone to do, really, is to just go see what your local, how your local lawmaking really does work and is enacted. Because I live in Maryland. I go to Annapolis, well, not now because everything's been shut down. I go to Annapolis, Maryland. That's where our state buildings are 3 to 4 times a month. I go there, and certain bills that are being passed through, I sign up my name so that I can testify for or against that bill. Right? I go and I speak to those wherever I am, you know, if I'm for or against it, whatever, or if there's certain things in the bill, because they come out. The thing is, people don't know where to look, right? And if you go to your state web page, you can find where all of these bills are, and you can read the bill line for line for line for line for line. Now, there's a lot of tricks to be played. For example, there's this thing called the Blueprint for Maryland's Future, an education bill, right? A big portion of the bill is to provide funding for underprivileged neighborhoods. All right. And the lawmakers want this bill passed. Now, the bill costs like $4 billion. They want it passed. But they also want to get it passed as quickly as possible because there's a lot of smaller organizations that they want the bill to be passed, but there's a lot of things within the bill that they feel like might put them out of business, right? It might, or they want more money. Like, for example, the city of Baltimore was going to have to, they were going to have to match a certain amount of money. So in the city of Baltimore, they're like, wait a minute, we need to slow the road a little bit because we're not sure if we can match that money. You know what I'm saying? So then they had to do some things to, you know, get some provisions in there so that Baltimore did not have to match that money. Mm-hmm. Right? But what they did in Annapolis, and this didn't affect Baltimore because in Baltimore, you know, it was already done because Baltimore, the neighborhoods in Baltimore just don't have the tax income. You know why already, right? They don't have the tax income to fund some of these things. But some of these other like private childcare programs, you know, they're like, well, you guys are going to put us out of business, right? Because part of the bill is to pay for free pre-kindergarten programs for children, right? So now the childcare programs are going to be like, well, all of our kids are going to go to free pre-K and we're going to be put out of business. So you know what the state did? Right. And here's some tricks that you play, but you got to know what they're doing and be able to be there. You know what I'm saying? And know who you have to talk to, because these people are accessible, more accessible than people think. But you know what they did? When COVID-19 hit,
they suspended all talks.
No, they didn't suspend all talks. They rushed to get this thing passed.
Right.
Without going through the normal process. Like COVID-19 hit and they were like, oh, boom, we're going to have these meetings on Saturday and Sunday. Next thing you know, I'm getting emails like, yo, they're having a meeting tonight. I'm like, hold up. What do you mean a meeting tonight? It's Saturday. It's Sunday. Like, and I'm talking about people sending me emails who work for a certain legislator. Like, hey, do you know they're meeting tonight? Da, 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 da. They try to rush because they want to get this thing passed. You know what I'm saying? So they play a lot of those type of tricks to try to put a wool over people's eyes. And most people just don't pay attention enough. And everybody can't pay attention enough. It's just impossible. So you really have to be able to pay attention to it, call people up, go into their office and be like, I'm going to sit here. And most people are not going to do it, but I'm going to sit here until so-and-so comes in because we need to talk. You know what I mean? And then, like you said earlier in another conversation, you gotta have people behind you, right? You gotta have people behind you because if you don't have a number of people behind you or a group behind you to say, you want these 10,000 people to vote for you, you want me to put out a good word to these 10,000 people, then here's some action items that we need you to do. You know what I mean? It just takes people being consistent and active, and it doesn't mean that everything that you put out there is going to go through, right? Trust me, it's not. You know, but you can have your voice heard. You can go there and talk to people face to face. You can go there. You can testify. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because I go testify. I don't always go testify. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I don't always go testify, because when you go there and you're testifying, right, you got 20 of them sitting in this, big whatever it is, and, you get your time to talk, and I pay attention to them. I watch them, right? They're on their phone. They're on their laptop. They're doing this, they're doing that. They're not really hearing you. So I usually forego that testimonial part, and I write it. Pen to paper. That's what the lady tonight was saying. Pen to paper. We need pen to paper. It's got to be in black and white, blue and white, whatever you're going to put it in. Pen to paper. You know what I mean? And then you got to get the people to support you. So I always put it on paper. I usually write a 1-pager, because a 2-pager, they might not read that far. Write me a 1-pager, and then I go, and you got to go find. Can't be afraid to talk.
Do you have any, because you seem like you'd probably be a good spokesman for them. Do you have like a bunch of businesses that are behind you, or behind maybe, not you individually, but maybe a group of you where you have a bunch of businesses that basically rock with you?
It all depends on what kind of group it is, because there are different groups that I work with. Like, for example, one group is like I was talking about, is about education. And yeah, I mean, everybody wants to give money to education and be part of improving education. Another group is about, false imprisonment, things like that. You know what I mean? So you gotta find groups that want to support your cause. Or businesses that want to support your cause. Go out and you talk to them. Will you get behind this? You know what I mean? Because
do you have any money because the thing about education is that it's a moral, in politics, is like the moral, stance, but it's not necessarily a money making. So it's more of like an investment, right? It would be like, if I want to push into school, if I'm say campaigning on school, that means I'm using funds to push into school, and my constituents have to agree to it. Versus, if you had money making businesses that can also attract out of state or out of city, county, whatever, money into it, commerce, where it's like, all right, these people are feeding me. Because I understand what you're saying. What you're saying, I'm telling, in theory, it is beautiful. It's how politics should work. Outside of the whole, when you're testifying and people aren't listening to you. But the fact that you can get your voice heard and all that stuff. But again, money and leverage talks. And I'm just saying, like,
it's
if
true,
you had
but
of money making businesses behind you, you would be a lot more powerful. And if you get those money making businesses to also vote alongside the groups that you have with the educational group, I mean, first of all, you'd be the kingpin of freaking of Charles County. But I'm just saying, you'd have a lot more sway and power, and you wouldn't have to. When you talk about holding your feet to the fire, it'd be a lot more easier. That's how I feel, because
listen, we go out and we get businesses. The education group is one thing, false imprisonment group is another thing. But I've seen it work. I've seen it work. Sometimes they're just simple things. The larger scale issues, of course, are going to be a lot tougher because there's going to be so many different opinions and viewpoints and things. Right. But I just encourage everybody, I don't want to get too political, right? But I just encourage everybody, go see. It might not be for you. That's fine. Just go see and learn about it at least. You know what I'm saying? Just go see and learn about it. And if you're ever in D.C., hit me up. I will take you to Capitol Hill, and whoever your senator is, we will go to your senator's office, and you will be surprised at how easy it is to walk in. You go through the metal detectors, just like if you was in public school. You go through the metal detectors, take your stuff off. They let you walk in, and then you got free reign throughout the building. You can eat lunch there. You can go to the barbershop. You can do all of that there. You know what I'm saying? And you can just walk into your senator's office and say, I want to speak to such and such. Oh, well, he or she's not here until this time. Okay, well, I'll sit and wait. Yep. It is there. Talking is one thing. Will they do it? That's another thing. And of course, they're slick. They're like car salesmen too. They slick, exactly. Boy. They're slick with the speech. But anyway, man, let's talk. Let's get into some other stuff, right?
But before you do that, that's where proper documentation comes in, and you hold people accountable. So you always schedule a follow-up.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
First of all, before Sim goes on, everybody knows that Sim has mad sway in Charles County. So if you ever go to Charles County and you want some free food, if you want to, just chill around, drive around in a nice car, Sim got you, man, because he runs shit out there, man.
I don't run. I don't run enough.
Don't try to play it off.
I don't run nothing. I don't run nothing. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. I don't know what Dan was talking about. Let's move on to the next topic. Move on to the next thing, man, because Trina came under some fire. Right? Trina came under some fire for some of the things that she said to Trick Daddy in their podcast. And it's about a 4 or 5 minute clip. I'm gonna bring it on over and let you listen to it. Because I know some people are like, man, I thought we was gonna talk about this, that, and the other thing. Y'all talking about politics. Well, we're gonna talk about it, but yeah, it's a political time right now. But yeah, Trina has some things to say, man. Let's take a listen.
6 a.m. and will be enforced until Gimenez stem the spread of the new coronavirus in Florida. Gimenez imposed a countrywide curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. and will be enforced until Gimenez lifts the order. They need to make the curfew at 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's how I feel.
No.
Keep everybody off the streets, these animals off the streets that are running around in Miami-Dade County acting like they have escaped from a zoo. Lock them up at 5 p.m. so the streets can be nice and clean. That's how I feel.
What the streets got to do with the people's lives? You got money.
We're not talking about the lives. We're not talking about money. We're not talking about the lives. We're not talking about that.
You got money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. These people got to go to work. Mm-hmm. These people been on lockdown.
I've been on lockdown too. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You've been on lockdown.
I've been on lockdown just like them.
Yeah, these people ain't been working.
Okay.
They about
Unfortunately,
to lose
a lot of people don't have jobs. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. They about to lose their mind.
We all about to lose our mind.
And just because one person.
They run. So today their minds are all back clear. Everybody's minds is back today good? Because the weekend it was they back good okay today?
They mind. One day ain't gonna get their mind clear. But it'll help.
Oh, okay.
It start somewhere.
Okay, that's cool.
That start somewhere.
And that means tear up our city? That means tear up our city?
Ain't nobody tear up no city.
That means tear up our city. That means run through and tear up our stores and burn down our stuff and break in our stores and go and tear up Bayside Marketplace and tear up my friend's shop that has a son and the kid to take care of her family. You go demolish her shop for something?
It's always personal with you.
It's definitely personal. It's definitely personal because I feel like at the end of the day...
Your friend got insurance.
She got insurance, but she also been locked down for 60 days, also like us, and she also don't have money like me. So I don't approve of it, period.
Okay.
I don't approve of it, period.
I don't either.
Because you don't want nobody burning down Sundays. Let's be very clear.
But
okay, and you have insurance.
But
you don't
let me
want
tell
that.
you this.
You don't want to be sent back from ribs and collard greens. Let's be very clear. Yeah.
Bring back.
We can't. We can't bring back anything. We can't bring back nobody's lives that has been taken away, whether it was from the police or in the hands of another civilian. We cannot bring them back. We cannot.
Okay.
We cannot bring them back. You cannot pump life back into them at all. I can't bring back my little brother's life. His life was taken by the hands of a man, a black man. I can't bring his life back. So what are you saying? Let's be back. Because I'm ready today. Today, I'm ready today. I am ready today, Miami. Today is the day. Okay. That's what we're talking about. Yes, I'm ready today. All right. Now,
we're not talking about
that. We're talking about it. We're talking about it.
We're talking about
We're talking about it. We're talking about it. Y'all always sweep that under the rug and y'all want to make something else. We're going to talk about it all today. All right. Yeah.
We're talking about black lives.
All right. The black lives that matter, right? The same black lives that are taken from the hands of other black people. Those matter too, huh? All right. Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah. What I won't do. I would not compare. You
ain't gotta compare it. You ain't gotta compare it. I'm living in the life of it. It's no comparison. I feel the same way. It's no exception. A life is a life. Period. Period. Okay. A life is a life. No matter how it was taken, whether it was a car accident, whether it was from a police, whether it was from the hands of another black man, a life was taken. Simple.
I gotta get there. All right. I'm glad you said period. Trick.
Fired Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been arrested and charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter. Okay, third-degree murder means a homicide committed with the intention of causing bodily harm, but not necessarily.
All right. So she spent some old news there. We know that, those charges have been changed, and he's being charged with second-degree murder, right? And his accomplices are being charged with aiding and abetting to second-degree murder. But let me just say one thing first. This is the reason why I do not argue with a black woman.
Yep.
They are too quick and too witty. I'm telling you. Too quick and too witty. Bam, it's right there. Dudes stumble and blah, 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 blah. Women are boom, they're there. And I don't do it, bro. I don't do it. I'll wait until everything calms down, and then I'll come and say, all right, now let's have a conversation, because in the heat of the moment, you're not going to get a word in, and you're not going to, you can't think as quick. I'm sorry.
Right.
Sorry, brothers out there, you can't think as quick, because she was eating Trick Daddy alive.
Sim.
And she was right, though. But she was eating Trick Daddy alive. She was right in some things, not everything, but still, in my opinion.
The reason why she got Trick Daddy, because I from what I heard, she was talking about the looters, not the protesters, right? We all agree.
Yeah.
So when she was talking about that, Trick Daddy really had no way to combat that, because what she was saying was right. If you want to protest, go ahead. When I heard it, I was like, all right, let me make sure she's not talking about the protesters, because the peaceful protesters, even if I don't agree with the whatever, I have no issue with them protesting. The looters who are destroying the neighborhood, and I'm not saying this should be the main folks, but they are making it harder short term and long term. Because one, short term, you're destroying the message or the purpose of the protest. Two, you're helping a bunch of people from out of town destroy your neighborhood. Three, you have to come back to that neighborhood. Unless you have your own country, your own guns, your own food, your own water, your own army, your own sovereignty, and you could get away from the U.S., if you are returning back to the same places that you degraded, where you had black businesses and Trick Daddy is wrong. Not all those black businesses are insured, and a lot of those small black businesses, they might not be covered for riots, and they may get up to 20, maybe 30% coverage. And they have to literally close down those businesses. Now you have another black business that was hiring people in the neighborhood, serving people in the neighborhood, that was bringing back tax revenue to help everybody out in that neighborhood. Now they may no longer be there. And if that person gets the money or the funds to open it back up, they might not open it back up in a place where it's like, hey, let me help my people out. So the thing about it is that what Trina said, she had a lot of anger in her heart. The reason why Trick Daddy was stuck was because Trick Daddy still wants to appeal to the thugs. He doesn't want to talk to thugs about, yo, bro. I did that thug life stuff, but come on, bro. We gotta grow from that. That ain't the life. I'm talking to you as an OG. Let's move on. He still wants to be cool with them. And so he wants to appeal to that ignorant. And I'm not saying all OGs or all people, not even saying all thugs, but I'm saying the looters, right? Why are we trying to appease the looters because they have a twisted voice on social media? If you destroy your own neighborhood, destroy your own enterprises, what's to say you wouldn't be the same one to rob me rob my mom, rape my sister, screw me over. Because if you do that to your own place where you live, you'll shit where you live. Who's to say you wouldn't do that shit to me? So if you do that shit to me, what do we call those people who rape the women in our neighborhood, who attack old ladies in our neighborhood, rob people? What do we call them?
Monsters.
So, and if they're doing that to enterprises that are in your neighborhood, I'm not talking about Apple, all these places that are outside the neighborhood, these nice neighborhood. I don't really care about that. I'm talking about in your neighborhood that's helping you out. That if you look up in a few years and say, damn, I need a job to hold me over, let me go work at the chicken shack over here. Let me work at the Manny Petty. Let me work at this warehouse over here that this black dude owns. Let me work for this trucking company this black dude owns. If you look up and it's no longer there because you helped destroy it, then what are you? I don't get it. Why? The looting does not benefit us. In our own neighborhood, does not benefit us.
Savvy, you're there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Talk to me about what you know about what's going on there.
All right. Well, what I know is that it's pretty crazy when. Well, I mean, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna say it's crazy because I've actually met Trick Daddy before, and he's a lot of people have Trick Daddy all the way screwed up. Like he's a very thoughtful guy at certain times. The way that he communicates his points might not always be the best, but he's a thinking man. You feel me? And to me, it's like in this moment, he's become the voice of reason. And I was so disheartened to hear what Trina had to say because more black businesses get destroyed by not getting support from the black community that they're in than by looters and being destroyed. Not only that, but any crime done by anybody who is black, we all know does not go with impunity unless they just get lucky, right? So I feel like as a person who has a platform and a fan base in the city that you're in, you have a responsibility to direct the aggression in the right direction. If you attack the problem at the root, you can come back and address all of the other issues in the meantime. But what my issue was with her rhetoric in that moment was that at no point in time did she jump off of that issue and go back and get on to the actual topic of attacking the systemic failures that caused that type of unrest. So that was my only issue with what she said, because if she had done it that way, then absolutely, of course, within the context greater of the protesting and the violence of the system and the failures of the system to self-correct, we can absolutely take a moment to examine the roles that our community plays with some of the misguided youth that might not know where to direct their anger. Absolutely. But as a person who has a platform, you should stay on case and know how to attack and where to attack first, and then we can talk about some of those issues. But I felt like I felt like the ultimate culprit was not addressed.
The ultimate culprit was what?
Was not addressed.
Okay, and that's where, 1 second, Isaiah. That's where, Savvy, I really do agree. Like, I know, listen, because I don't agree with the looting. You know, to me, it's just senseless. It doesn't make sense. Tearing up your city, tearing up your neighborhood. It doesn't make sense. Now, I will say, when I seen, police cars and things like that burned, I don't support it, but the anger is pointed in the right direction. Okay, when you talk about that.
Exactly.
But I do agree with you when you say, let's not lose focus on the who's caused the anger.
Right. I just feel like at any given time, at no point in time is any sort of black crimes being forgiven and being condoned by anybody. I've never heard anybody condone any black crime before, from outside the community, from within the community. I feel like it's incredibly misguided at this moment in time to do any sort of a finger wagging to anybody, because I disagree with the methods, but I understand why they're doing it. And if my method is not their method, I can't wag my finger at them until I have an opportunity to go and show them the way. Because we know a lot of people don't have guidance in our community, and it's messed up to just wag the finger and not offer the guidance.
All right. Isaiah, you want to jump in there?
Hey, sorry. Continue.
No, you're good, Grandma. What's going on, Sim? What's going on,
What's up, man?
What's going on, everybody? I listened to the interview, and I pretty much side with. I agree with Guillermo when it comes to what she was saying. Like, I just had to make sure she wasn't talking about the protesters and she wasn't talking about them. She was just talking about the looters that's coming through her city, and these plants and these people that are not from Miami, and they're coming down, ruining the city and destroying it. And again, this is those are planting the seeds of gentrification again. And I'm not going to stand for that. And those are the monsters. Like, Guillermo shared us a video today with the Dominicans running these people out of their neighborhood that are trying to loot, and they're trying to ruin their businesses. I agree with these are monsters. These are animals. These are animals, because no human being with a good heart, with a good mind, would try to go to somebody else's house and ruin their house and take an ish on their floor.
Hold on 1 second, Simeon. Hold on 1 second. Isaiah, I'm not going to let you use dehumanizing language to describe people.
I agree. They're dehumanizing. They have hope. They can recover.
My goodness, man. Come on.
Dehumanizing.
Animals, really?
Yep.
I haven't heard anybody call the cops animals.
I called hold on.
I'm not talking to you, Jim. I'm talking to Isaiah. Hold on.
The cops who do this,
you can't dehumanize that.
Kill innocent black men, white people coming from North Dakota, all those degenerates. I bet we've badmouthed.
I'm trying to hear Isaiah's response right now, Guillermo.
All right, go ahead, man.
It's all right, Guillermo. It's okay. So I'll be honest with you. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. These are animals, in my opinion. If you're gonna come to these black-owned, brown, and Latino neighborhoods and destroy what they built, you're an animal. Sorry, sorry, Savvy. I know you feel a different way. That's how I feel. These are animals. If you're telling me that these people don't care, why should we care about what we call them when they don't care about people's livelihoods, people's way of living? Why should we care about that? Why should I give them the energy? I'd rather focus on people that are trying to do this the right way. These mom and pop stores, these Latino, these blacks, these people that come from the gutter, come from nothing, work their asses off their whole life to get a store, and you're telling me I'm supposed to feel a type? I'm supposed to pander to people that come from Ohio, that come from Ohio to come destroy these neighborhoods and go back to their suburbs? No, screw them. They're animals. I have nothing positive to say about them. I'd rather focus on people that are working hard, that are trying to make a better living, to actually try to live this quote unquote American dream of, getting it from your bootstraps and working hard. I don't care about this.
Jazz, what's your take, Jazz? Oh, I can't hear you.
Jazz, you're muted or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't hear you. I don't know. We can see you, but I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on with this.
Jazz, if you got a match, make sure that your output and your input is correct, because I have to do that.
Yeah. You might have to check. You might have to check your.
Yeah, we can hear now. She can hear.
Okay, it's a delay.
There we go. There we go.
Okay, cool. What's up, everybody? Y'all are hostile tonight. Okay. I'm gonna say this one thing, because at first I was a little discouraged, and I came on here and I'm like, oh, this is a whole nother vibe. Trina, I ain't gonna lie, she kind of right. I don't know why black people think because other black people may feel a some time way we can't say certain things because those are black. We just have to be for it. And I think she again was talking about the looters and saying that they needed a curfew time. I agree. And I agree that they were animals. I'm from Chicago. So you can only imagine what I've been going through these past couple of days with living in Chicago and looters. I mean, like literally people have been on social media saying, yo, we meeting up here at this time. Like literally people have been doing this. So you can only imagine. So I totally agree with Trina, but y'all got to realize Trina been on 10 for the past couple of weeks, ever since Kaya came in. I mean, Trina has been on a roll. So this is all just built up. Okay. And again, I do agree with Gammo. Like, Trick Daddy is he's always trying to compare to the streets. He's always trying to make sure he don't say the wrong things. He don't probably think the same way Trina thinks. That's why they probably been clashing as much as they have been these past couple of like months, because they was clashing in Love and Hip Hop too, but that's a whole nother story.
That's fake, by the way. We all know that's fake, though.
We all know it's okay. Shut up.
Yeah, she knows that show. Don't mess up. That's a favorite show. Yo.
I'm sorry, Sister Jazz.
Moms get a haircut. Don't know how to act. Okay.
Damn, wow.
See what I told you? See what I told you? I'm trying to tell you. Isaiah, don't do it, bro.
Hey, John, I ain't gonna cut you off, sister, but you know, just shout out to my barber. You know, he got me right.
All right, back to Jazz. Jazz.
Hey.
I think no, seriously, again, it's okay. Your barber will take you in next week. We'll be pumping your head up next week. We'll boost you up. Cause look at me. I'm trying to get in the shop too. Okay, but that's beside the point. But yeah, I agree. But y'all gotta realize, like, it's a lot of stuff going on. It's nothing wrong with Black people saying that Black people are right or wrong for calling our people what they are. They animals. They've been cutting up out there. I'm disgusted with everything I've been seeing here in Chicago, especially on the west side of Chicago. Like, they have been cutting up. So I'm not even gonna get into that because that's an emotional attack, and we're trying to stay out of emotionals, and we're not trying to be political today. So yeah.
Talking about
well, we would just talk about political processes.
Miami.
I mean, you want to get emotional? Hey, we will talk about political processes. We wasn't trying to get deep into political processes, you know?
Yeah. Okay. What you say, Gemma?
Isn't it like the South Side? Like, aren't they like they're Blacks who are getting like jumped by Mexicans? Like Mexicans?
Yeah, that's on Cicero. That was the not the Vice Lords, Latin Kings. But today they had another protest where Blacks and African Americans came together today. So they did a big protest where the Mexicans basically helped. They hosted it. The Latino community, they hosted it, everything, and all our people were there as well. So that's squashed. I think that was something low-key on another personal level there. But yeah, it was really intense yesterday. That was a whole nother level. Not to mention, I didn't send it to nobody, but over in my neighborhood, maybe like in the next subdivision over, it was a Latino woman who got thrown down by the police. Her and her Black boyfriend were arguing, and somebody called the police, and the police held her. I mean, the video is very explicit. If anybody follow Eva, whatever her name is, from America's Next Top Model, she posted it, and it went viral. And I'm like, a bunch of people were sending it to me, and I woke up this morning, seeing the message. I'm like, wait, this just happened around the corner from me. And the cop only got suspended. But you didn't see it on the news. You seen it on the local news within the small community that I live in. You didn't see it go viral. You didn't see it. They're trying to like diminish it slowly but sure. This woman was on the floor just how George Floyd was, and blood is like literally gushing from her mouth and her face. Okay, it was really bad.
And the thing about Chicago has you guys, I mean, you probably already know, but they have a ridiculous history. I forgot who the guy was, but not the commissioner, but it was like they used to have secret, not arrests. What do you call like secret interrogations and stuff on people on criminal Chicago, where like there's like a huge. I'll send an article, but like there's a huge
on the south side of Chicago. Yeah,
they used to arrest. They used to beat the living crap, kill, just starve dead like bodies, like literally forcing people into false allegations. So Chicago has a crazy history. And the funniest thing is like Chicago's not even the top 10 most dangerous city in the U.S. So I mean, there's
not anymore.
Not anymore, right? Not anymore. But they haven't been like in a while. Like Stockton, California is like one of the worst, or is in the top 10 list. But yeah, Chicago.
Yeah, your small cities now. Your small cities, Camden, Rochester, New York, are some of the more dangerous now because there's not a lot of money there. You know, the economy is dying. You got, all these other big city neighborhoods are being gentrified, so they move to these smaller cities, right? And now they're all bunched up in these smaller cities.
Yep.
And a lot of these smaller cities have the highest crime rates and murder rates and things like that, man.
And lastly, I'll say something just real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pontificate, but one thing that Isaiah said, this is why I want, and when I call these kids animal, I also said there's a point of redemption, right? I'm not calling them super predators. I don't think that there's no redemption in them. But I don't know how many young kids listen to this, but I would like for them to take into effect what they're doing, right? So even in places, the Mexicans in Chicago, you had Dominicans in Dykeman. And at first I got pissed, right? But it's like, when you look at what they have, even though those places aren't the most lucrative, they will protect their property. They'll protect their little businesses at any means. And they know how to get on code. with their stuff. What I want these kids to do is that I want them to see long term, because like Isaiah said, a lot of what they do, especially what they did in Brooklyn, and Bloomberg had a promise for this since the early 2000s or whenever he got in, to basically turn to Manhattan. They want you guys to continue to destroy your communities, because again, those businesses aren't going to come back, and they'll become food deserts. And you know the next thing that'll happen? A corporation will come in and say, hey, we got to expand. The Amazons, whatever, maybe not Amazon, but Amazon did try to move to Newark, or that was one of the places. What they'll do is that these businesses will look in and say, all right, we build a development over here. You got to make sure that you move out these people from the projects. You move out these people from these controlled, so we could put our campus of workers here. And they build a campus of workers here, then they bring the Whole Foods there, and soon enough, they'll find ways to move you out little by little. Then you realize you're the only last 10 black families on the block, and they're slowly moving you out. And by the time you look up, like Sim said, now you're moving to an even worse place. No offense, like a Camden, like a whatever. And that's how they do it. So I'm just saying, for these young kids, and the business also have to do a better job of saying, hey, we got a whole bunch of young kids in this community who are hungry. And I mean, start from middle school, because that's where I think it truly breaks, where they lose that innocence from elementary school. They start being like, damn, F it, man. No one cares about me. I don't care about life. So both sides got to do a better job of coming together. But for these little youngins out here, man, hey, you got $200, build yourself an LLC, make some YouTube videos. There's so many ways to make money more easily and bring yourself up in this day and age. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist, man. These kids out here, bro, Sim, they have cameras out here. They're letting these kids do this stuff, Sim, so they can literally, when they chill back, they'll go through the video camera, they'll go through all the evidence they have, and they'll start locking up these kids. They'll get prize on them. Trust, they have surveillance on you. They surveil my older brother, because my older brother was doing some grimy stuff, not in this protest, but and they have information, like the precinct knows, like they know him by like little things he was doing here and there that he never thought anybody was. They like, oh yeah, we know about him. So I'm just saying, be very careful. These kids, they have surveillance on you. They're not dumb. They just want to build up their case, just like they do with scammers, just like do all these little other youngins who do these little crimes. They want to build it up. So when they send you to prison, when they send you to Rikers, they can send you there for 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, and no one's going to say, they're going to look at your priors and be like, well, his rap sheet is pretty long. So, yeah, he's good to go.
Hey, Guillermo, just to chime in real quick with that, right? I work for Verizon. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, and we have people that's, Apple reps, and I'm telling you, Guillermo, these kids, stop doing it. Stop trying to steal stop stealing these phones, because they're getting ready. Guillermo, I'm telling you, Verizon, they're telling us stuff. They're like, yo, they even told us, if kids come in and they try to like do some crazy stuff, let them do it.
Yeah.
Let them do it, because they're ready. This is so real that it's not a game, yo. And these kids, Sim, you know what's so crazy, Sim, Guillermo, and Savvy and Jazz? Yo, there's an Apple store next to Yale in downtown New Haven. It's boarded up. But it's only plywood. And I'm telling you, man, this is real. They're ready. Why
do you think all those big corporations don't care, Isaiah? Why do you think all those corporations, they're just like sitting back, they collect insurance money, and when things get racked up, when the police trust me, when everything dies down, they're gonna start going after these kids. Apple already said, yo, we're already tracking you. They have it on Instagram, where they have pictures of people showing their phones, and it's like, yo, send it. This phone will not work. Send it back. We have you trapped. And I'm telling you, they'll have you trapped. And when these young boys, remember in the 80s and 90s in New York, or 90s, mid-90s, when Giuliani came in, you want to remember when the true gentrification started, really the foundation of it happened? When Giuliani started moving a lot of these black kids into prison, long term, and a lot of black men were no longer in the communities, and they couldn't be the extra income in the house. That's when a lot of black families start to push black families slowly out of Fort Greene, slowly out of Brooklyn. So trust, if you want to do this stuff, then you'll be looking up, youngins. You 16, 15 now, okay, you want to go through a life of crime. You look up when you're 30-something, 40-something, and you can't go back home to Brooklyn. Now, and your mom don't want you in the house. No father's at home. I'm just saying, we got to make better decisions. Well, not we. I'm not young, but young kids, please, just be smart. I know you're angry, but do not think emotionally. They want you to do that because they're thinking logically. They're thinking on chess. They're thinking four-dimensional. They have this all planned out. Please do not go into these looting situations. Let those white people from Dakota, whatever, do that in the white neighborhoods. They come to the black neighborhoods. I think it was in Chicago. I can't remember where, but I loved it. I saw a bunch of young black dudes with guns. I don't know if they're legal, with guns protecting businesses. That's how we should be, bro.
Exactly.
So, no doubt. Again, I want to ask you one question.
You're gonna say something stupid. I know he's gonna.
Hold
on. Let me see. Do I have something messed up?
Do you have what?
I have something messed up that you could pick on.
Nah, nothing. I just want to ask you one question. Pontificate. Have you been to prison?
Nah, I haven't been to prison.
Because you use a lot of prison terminology. You use a lot of big dictionary prison words.
There's certain words that
you know what I'm saying?
Like pontificate, demagogue,
Guillermo, I feel like I'm talking on the phone with one of my mans. He's like, just like using all these, because he read the dictionary 17 times. So he's like hitting me with these words. I'm like, bro, you sure you using that in the right context? He's like,
it is the right context. Is that I make sure, man. You know why, Sim? I used to watch, remember Living Color? And when idiot Damon Wayans used to come on as a dude from prison, and he used to use all those fake, like, he was in prison, like he's one of these smart dudes, and he used all those fake terms, and they had to do what he's talking about. So I always make sure, because you know why? When you work with white people and you use a word that, like a big word, but is out of context, they'll do things that make you feel like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. I should just use a simple word. So I make sure I'm always right. But there's some words I just like. I like pontificate just because.
I know you like pontificate.
That did sound
That's
good. That's a $2 word, Guillermo.
Pontificate. Prisonology talk till the time cut off. I know well about that. I know about that well.
Pontificate. My boy said a different way. I was like, whoa, what the heck?
He's been practicing.
Yeah, man. Now I want to get into something that's maybe a little bit more, just a little bit more humorous, I think. Your boy, and I'm speaking to everybody, your boy Bill Cosby sent the post from, prison. No bull.
Why are you doing this, man?
Your boy Bill Cosby sent the post from prison. All right, this is what he said. Speaking about, obviously, this is what he said. He said, when I think about George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and countless other black people murdered by racial hatred,
no choice but to think.
I could not help but think about my son, Ennis, who was also brutally murdered before racial hatred shot our beloved Ennis in the head and abruptly ended his life. This raging inferno of racial hatred stated, "Die nigger," before he pulled the trigger. I understand the pain. I understand the helplessness. And I, too, understand that no parent has willingly filled out an application to become a member of the My Child Was Murdered by Racial Hatred Club. These murders of innocent black people will never end until the establishment acknowledges that they are the architects of this prison of racism in America. They continue to teach racial hatred around their dinner tables. They continue to fuel racial hatred by portraying black people negatively on television and movies. And they continue to enhance racial hatred by placing their knee on the necks of black people, no matter their education, success, or fame. Yes, protests are meaningful and powerful when they are done in a peaceful manner. But the mayors and governors of Minneapolis, Philadelphia, New York, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Birmingham, etc., can send police officers out in tactical gear, ready and willing to inflict bodily harm, which doesn't reflect nor the expectation of a peaceful protest. Come on, people. Let's not squander a golden opportunity. Officers, remove your tactical gear, remove your guns, put on the full armor of God, and march with the people whom you have made your enemy. I will continue to pray that God provides the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and countless other black people murdered by racial hatred with wisdom, understanding, and peace during these difficult times. Please be mindful and be safe. And that was a post by Bill Cosby from prison.
Post of innocence.
Man, so got you a question. What's going on with all these prison celebrities getting these phones and still be able to go on Twitter?
First of all, celebrity jail is a little bit different.
A little bit different. A little bit different.
Okay. But we may know this man may be in a little villa somewhere. Okay.
It's a little bit different, but I'm gonna tell you for real though. Like, I have had people send me messages, Facebook messages from prison, And I'm like, yo, he's like, yeah, they let us have this now. I'm like, no, they don't, bro. You lying. But, you know. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, man.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So, like, people be getting phones, you know, they get phones slipped in and all that.
They do.
Now, I don't know if he posted it from prison. He probably had his people posted. I don't know.
But
he's in there, from what I understand, with Bill Cosby, prison is doing him well. He said he's in the best shape of his life. He said that.
He's a G. Look. Look. There are a lot of funny stuff with that. I'm not getting to it, but Bill Cosby, for what he was doing for black people, if you watch a lot of his videos from the 60s or 70s, he was on that black power stuff heavy. And the thing about Bill Cosby, I would never discredit him. Now, people want to say, oh, you know, what he said about black people, blah, blah. First of all, you have to take it to account that he was of an older generation. They did things a little bit differently. And let's be honest, how they thought, the ones who really thought of it like that, they moved militantly. Bill Cosby was one of the ones that funded Spike Lee when he couldn't get funding from Hollywood. Spike Lee threw him under the bus. Bill Cosby funded a lot of black colleges, gave a lot of money. They didn't give him back that money.
Yeah, I know.
So I'll say this. I know everybody wants to joke on Bill Cosby. There are a lot of stuff in that case that people do not want to delve into because it's like, oh, if I do that now, I'll be a pariah, whatever. Because I look at a lot of stuff. The case he had in Pennsylvania, I'm sorry to say, bullshit. You can look up the stuff. I'll send y'all links that literally, there's only one news website that actually filed it. Why something news, I forgot what it's called. And a lot of stuff. Look, when they went to bury as a black man, I don't know about all that NBC stuff. And also, his son got killed by like a Russian or Eastern European, what's the name? And the car was supposed to be robbed and nothing was taken. So a lot of funny stuff that went with that death itself. Go look into that case.
I know.
So a lot of people, they want to kill Bill Cosby and they're doing this. But remember, the same people like Bill Maher, people that killed Bill Cosby, they don't kill their friends like Harvey Weinstein. They don't kill their friends like Epstein. They don't kill any of these people that did.
Well, they killed Epstein.
They don't come after any of these people.
They killed
Bill Cosby
Epstein.
did a lot for black people. When he said, black men, pull up your pants, he wasn't saying like, yo, you dumb mother effer. If you listen to the whole speech,
you have to listen to it. Yeah, definitely. You got to listen to it. My question is, does everything that went on with Bill Cosby and women and everything, does it take away? Because without those glasses, right? Without those glasses of what he did in his past, he would have made a powerful statement. Without those glasses.
Can I say something about Bill Cosby?
Does what he did take away from his statement here?
I mean,
obviously, his influence in the world has changed because he used to be the father of America. He had, he's like, okay, Bill Cosby. You thought he was like, he didn't curse in his comedies. You know what I'm saying? He's telling Eddie Murphy not to curse, and Eddie Murphy is like, well, just have a Coke and a smile. Shut the fuck up. If you guys remember that, you guys might not. Some of you guys might not remember that. You might be too young to go listen to Delirious.
And again,
but anyway,
on the Eddie Murphy thing, real quick. Sorry to cut you off. On the Eddie Murphy, this is how messed up Hollywood is. So I think it was Eddie Murphy Bill Cosby, because I forgot something happened in Eddie Murphy's life, and he was doing like comedy. What do you call stand-up comedy? And he was really angry. He was cursing at people in the crowd and that stuff. The story behind that is Bill Cosby told him, hey, because you're saying Murphy was angry and telling people, yo, I'm rich and you, blah, blah. And Bill Cosby's like, yo, don't, like, bro.
Yeah. I know the story.
People turned it to make it seem like Bill Cosby said, no, curse, blah, blah, blah. Sinbad, go listen to Sinbad interviews. He was like, no. He was trying to help Eddie Murphy. It wasn't Sinbad for this one, but he was trying to tell Eddie Murphy, like, yo, chill out. You do not want to lose your core audience. Don't curse at them. And Eddie Murphy then replied, have a Coke and smile. Shut the F up. But Eddie Murphy never went back and corrected what Bill Cosby, what people perceive.
I know the story. I know the story. I know the story, but that's not the question. What I'm asking is, does his what he's done, does it take away from the significance of what he just said there and anything else?
I was going to say with that, so it's tough because Bill Cosby is probably the greatest African-American TV, probably the most important African-American TV role in history. Because I feel like, if I'm not, and quote me if I'm wrong, but he was the first real black father on TV that had a great job, that had a wife and all that. So you have to pave him the way for that. Like you said, he was, as a black man, he was America's dad. So that's unheard of. Honest, but to me, it falls with the R. Kelly thing. For me, it falls with the R. Kelly thing of, what he did with the woman. I can't get over that. It's just like the same thing with R. Kelly, what he did with the little black girls. R. Kelly's top 5 greatest artists, most talented artists, one of the top 10 or top 15 artists of all time. But you can't excuse what he did with raping little black girls. You can't excuse Bill Cosby for drugging women and taking advantage of them. We can't look over that. And it's not because he is a powerful voice. And if he didn't do this would have been a great statement. This would have been a great statement for him, because he would have been Grandpa Bill. He would have been with the voice of the black generation. He would have been what Bill Russell is now. And this is me. I can't look over what he did to women back then. I can't do it. Me personally.
All right, Jazz, I see, Go ahead, let it out.
I don't take anything, back from what they did. But you cannot take away their craft, their gifts, and what they can do. And that includes R. Kelly. I can argue wrong and right. I can also say, well, why these women just all of a sudden just now speaking up? But we ain't gonna go into all of that. Okay, we're not gonna do that out of nowhere. I do want to say that this is an example of what we also have been talking about, how the media tampers with emotion. Literally, it's about how they present. You don't see their white men. Okay, we ain't gonna go into that. I'm trying to stay on task. Either way it goes, yes. Bill is definitely, his innocence is in our eyes is Bill Cosby, that guy. You got people commenting on it saying, Bill, they ain't gonna let you out because you posted this or whatever the case may be. I don't think his intentions was that. I think he just wanted to get his point across to the people and speak, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I receive it. That's just if it was him. I feel like if he ain't doing it to Claire Huxtable, then he ain't doing it to nobody else. But that's beside the point.
She backed him up. I'm
done. I ain't, she did back him up. She did. But I ain't gonna say nothing else. Yeah.
Let me get to a couple of phone calls. All right. But you guys are still gonna be live. All right. But let me get to a phone call here. You should be able to hear the caller. Caller, you live on the front stoop. What's popping?
Hello. What's up? What's going on, Sam?
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
How's it going, man? I'm definitely thankful to be on the show. And I just wanted to send love to everybody on tonight, listening and as well as speaking, because I'm sure we're living through some hard times.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually just want to, send some love y'all way. And I also want to say, I did take issue. Matter of fact, with the animals comment that Isaiah had in reference to people who are looting. And I do mean looting, and I want to make that distinction between protesters and people who are looting. But however, I don't like it. Nobody likes to see what's happening to the businesses and what's going on there. But I do need to say that, this country was founded off of protests. Everything from the Boston Tea Party to the American Revolution, to, after Martin Luther King died, there were riots in the wake of his death. And after those riots happened, a lot of damage happened. But then we also had the Fair Housing Act, which was actual policy, which moved because people said enough. And I think right now people are saying enough. Colin Kaepernick knelt. Beyonce, did the Super Bowl halftime performance. People have been demonstrating peacefully for years and years and years and years, and we have not seen policy change. There is a report that was done also in the 1960s after Martin Luther King died. It was called the Kerner Report, and that was a federal report to assess the impacts of racism on the Black community. And that report was done 50 plus years ago. And they just did an update to that report. And the news is that nothing has changed from 50 years ago till now. So although I understand people who are, who are concerned about businesses, and especially businesses in Black communities that are being harmed, but, there's also Targets being looted, CVS's being burned. We see the images going on. And while that is, a lot to see, and I also do fault the media for showing us so much of that and showing us so little of the peaceful protests and showing us so little of the solutions that people are trying to talk about now. Right now is not a time to center businesses over human lives. And I know that's hard to kind of pack together.
So let me ask you this, though, because just as we've been protesting peacefully and marching for years, we've been looting for years too, right? We've been rioting for years. We rioted in 68 when King died. We rioted in 92. We rioted a few years ago. We're rioting today. Nothing's changed since 68. And we rioted as well.
Facts.
We rioted as well. I mean, I understand the frustration, right? I do, and I get it. The frustration needs to be directed to the right place. Because if I walk outside and somebody punches me in the face, I'm not coming in my house and tear the pictures off the wall, right? I'm not doing that. I'm going to punch them back. I'm going to direct my anger towards that person, right? I understand where the violence comes in because you are frustrated and it boils over. My only thing is directed. First of all, I don't condone rioting or looting, right?
Yeah.
I don't condone it. But if you're going to do it, and I understand why, because if you've ever been, I'm pretty sure everyone listening, everyone is on this platform has been so angry that all you could do is throw something. I know you have. Or you're so angry, like, I got to go to the gym and hit the bag. Right? Because you have this pent up energy and you got to let it out somewhere. All I'm saying
Absolutely.
is I don't condone it, but direct it in the right direction.
Hey, so
like I said a while ago, I said, this man killed George Floyd, put his knee on his neck. He probably lives 30 minutes away, less than 30 minutes away from that particular neighborhood. How come we don't go to that neighborhood?
They did go to that neighborhood.
All right.
Right?
So,
at the time we didn't. At the time we didn't. But why do we not go to that neighborhood? Now, they went and they burnt the police station, and it is what it is. But at the time, that was my question. And I'm saying I don't want it to happen because I don't want our people getting hurt. But you gotta, if it's gonna happen, direct the anger in the right direction.
I agree with you.
Hey, Sim, can I respond to what he's saying?
Right now, what you're seeing right now is like, Martin Luther King said 2 years before he died, he said that riot is the language of the unheard. Right now, we're seeing a lot of unchanneled energy from, kids who've been home, like they're home right now because of COVID-19 got people home. And, it's a time like no other. And right now we're seeing unchanneled energy. Okay. But instead of faulting right now, and I see myself in life as somebody who, wants to be in those conversations, pushing it forward, like pushing, I kind of see myself as a, leader in that way and trying to do my best part. And, I don't want right now, I'm not looking at the powerless, the people who have no power and are frustrated and are looting. Right now, to me, those are the screams of the unheard, and we need to put our attention on the policymakers, on the LAPD commission, on the police departments, from everything from local government to state government to national government. We need to be putting the pressure on them to be making the correct changes and the correct policy. Because
No,
right
we
now,
can't have, so we can't, wait, hold on.
Without a doubt, my brother.
Thank you.
I definitely agree with you there. We got to put the pressure there. Thank you for the call. We'll see if we got somebody else calling in. All right, appreciate it, bro.
Finally.
all right.
Go ahead. Who wants to jump in there? I know you guys want to
I
jump in.
wanted to say
One quick
him.
little contribution. All I want to do is pose a quick question and add one thing on. I agree with that guy. I absolutely condone all of the responses, the political responses, the organized responses, the disorganized responses, the violent responses, and the non-violent responses. You know why? Because you fight all of the battles at the same time, and without that response, we would still be begging for justice from a power structure that seeks to do us no good.
We are not the enemy. What does attacking your own people have to do with the power structure?
Thank you, Guillermo.
The black people who own businesses, what in the F do they have to do with the power structure that oppresses you? They actually help you get out. If you need a job for the summer, if you need a job to help you over, that store that hires you, that mani-pedi, that whatever, that helps you. Why would you destroy your own people's enterprises to help you out the hood? Why? What does that have to do with white supremacy whatsoever? That's actually anti-white supremacy, because that says, hey, with all the so-called white supremacy going around, I can still open up a business, elevate my people, make money for myself, make money for my generations and my children, and we can hopefully improve this place. What the F does that have to do with the damn white person that's attacking?
And I want to.
You're the kind of person that goes into a burning building and looks at the
sick. Yo, if a black person
let him go. Let him go, Gammo. Let him go. Go ahead, Savvy.
Sorry,
and then Isaiah. Go ahead.
How do you walk into a burning building and then criticize dirty dishes being in the sink? Like, I don't understand. Like if this was such an issue, why haven't we been talking about this all along, right? But suddenly now that there's a big problem, now that there's a big conflict between the powerless and the people in power who could change our lives for the better tomorrow if they wanted to. You're going to take this time out to distribute.
Hold up. Hey, one at a time. Let him finish. And let's try to keep what we're saying.
My bad.
Kind of short so that other people can go. But
got you.
It's all right, Simon. I said my piece. Go on.
Wait, but okay. You keep talking about the. Sorry, Isaiah. You still haven't answered my question. The people savvy. Just say, for instance, your aunt, your mother, your father, whoever, your uncles, your brother. If they open up a business, what does that have to do with the power structure over in the places outside of your community that are so-called oppress you? What does that have to do with anything? If I open up a business, Savvy, and I employ you, and I'm
your question doesn't even make sense in the syntax.
Huh?
All right. You know what? Isaiah, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say. Then we're just gonna get on to the next thing.
I wanna.
We've been on the same topic all night.
I want to go back to what my man said on the phone and what Savvy said. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't understand what y'all trying to make. If we are destroying the black businesses, we are being counterproductive. We're looting the black businesses. We're being counterproductive with what we're trying to do. I don't get what's this making sense. You want all this. You want this chaos. You want disorder. You want order. You can't have that. If we're going to be better, if we're going to be smarter, you can't destroy the black businesses. Where are y'all getting this from? I'm sorry, this is idiotic. For y'all to even mention that, and what I was saying, and the people I was calling animals are the people that are not from those neighborhood, the people that are coming from different states, different parts of the state or whatever, and coming to those neighborhoods, looting, stealing from those people, and they're going back to their suburbs. They're going back to their own states with the stuff. What are we talking about? This is crazy to me. Yo, bro. And let me say this.
Where you get this?
Let's get it. Wrap it up, Isaiah. Wrap it up so we can move on.
I feel like some of y'all saying this who don't have people that own black businesses. Or this not your mother, this not your father, this not affecting you. So you can easily say, oh, well, they can loot because, this and that. Bro, these are people that come from nothing. These are people that work their asses off their whole lives to actually have something to call their own. And you're just going to disregard them because you want chaos, because you want this. That's bullshit, bro. And you can go, son, because that's crap.
All right.
You're insane.
Hold up. Listen. We got it. First of all, we can't talk over top of each other.
Sorry about that.
All right, because that's not going to work. People can't hear us. Say what you got to say. keep it short. You know what I'm saying? Say it, keep it short, couple of seconds, and then let somebody else go so that we can keep it going. All right, because if we go on for too long, then we keep it short. All right, let me get to this person that's on the phone, and then I want to hear what Killer Mike has to say. I didn't listen to the whole thing. This is going to actually be my first time listening to it. I just want to hear what he has to say, and we can talk about that. There's a whole lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Caller, you live on the front stoop. What's popping?
Hey, what's going on, Sam? What's going on? This is AP Trader.
AP, what's popping with you, brother, man?
Hey, I'm all right. Good. Thanks for that. And I just want to say what's up to all the fellas and the sisters that's on the chat. And I just want to say one thing. We have to start with our history. Okay? We have to know what we're dealing with, how this government was formed. We did everything for America. Okay? So when you have some of these young brothers that's trying to critique and say, oh, we doing this, we fought wars for them. Okay? We fought the Civil War. I'm Black American, man. Okay? And I hear a lot of other brothers talk, but you have to know your history, man. We beat Hitler for this country and came back and had to sit in back of the bus. Okay? So we have to know who we're dealing with. And the only way to deal with these people is hitting their pockets because money is their God. Okay? And us as a people, we have to stop fighting each other, supporting negative images. We talk all of this, but then we want to go listen to a Trey 6ix9ine and all this gangster rap. Okay? We have to live it now. If you want to be conscious, live that life. Don't do it one day and then tomorrow you looking for thoughts. If we wasn't looking for thoughts, there wouldn't be no thoughts. Okay? We have to start doing better and starting with the youth. And I'm a little upset because you hear a lot of brothers and everybody's complaining about this religion, this and that. At the end of the day, we all have to get on the same page, like other races. Now, another thing, a lot of these businesses are not owned by your people. Okay? The Chinaman ain't worrying about you. He's telling you to hurry up and buy. So if this shit get burned down while we worrying about it, excuse my language, we need some people to come in, organize, and buy that property back. Okay? They burnt down our Black Wall Street, our churches, our schools, our businesses. We had everything before the foreigners came in. Let's not forget. Okay? You got to think about this. How we at war with Muslim nations, but you going to get your Phillies and your Lucy's from Aki, a Muslim nigga. So America has a game plan. And when you know that game plan, you don't get caught up with the rhetoric. We got to leave their politics alone. I'm not arguing about what slave masters good, Trump, Democrats, this and that, because that's all you're doing. Okay, we have to worry about ourselves, get back on some self-destruction, fight the power, but we don't want to do that because our society's filled with pimps and hoes. Okay, everybody wants the flashy, want the chick that's wearing that mini skirt. We don't want to promote the good girls. Okay, and then our women got caught up with this woman nonsense. Instead of them being black, now they say they're women. But at the end of the day, in that room with other women, you're still at the bottom of the toe. Because the Asian women looking down on you, the white women looking down on you. So it's not about you being a woman. It's about you being a black woman. Okay, I just want to say that, leave it at that point. I'm not going to do up no more time. Yo, one love to everybody on the chat. And I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, brother. You did what you had to do, man. I love everything you had to say. Big shout out to you, man.
All right, peace, y'all.
Peace, man. Peace. Peace. Hey, listen, you can tell, man, like, people are angry. That's why, I'm glad that I can, even if we're not coming up with actions here, although we do have some actions, not coming up with straight up actions here, people can let out some of that anger, man, because it's there. We got, got to let some of that steam out. Let's listen to Killer Mike. I'm not exactly sure how long it is. I probably won't play the whole thing, but let's listen to Killer Mike. Where he did a news conference the other day, and see what we think about that. Then we got some other things, I want to talk about. We got some people who support defunding the police department. I want to talk about that. What do you guys think about that? How would that work? You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get to Killer Mike, and then we'll get on from there.
I didn't want to come, and I don't want to be here. I'm the son of an Atlanta City police officer. My cousin is an Atlanta City police officer, and my other cousin, East Point police officer. And I got a lot of love and respect for police officers, down to the original 8 police officers in Atlanta that even after becoming police had to dress in a YMCA because white officers didn't want to get dressed with their And here we are 80 years later. I watched a white officer assassinate a black man. And I know that tore your heart out. And I know it's crippling. And I have nothing positive to say in this moment because I don't want to be here. But I'm responsible to be here because it wasn't just Dr. King and people dressed nicely who marched and protested to progress this city and so many other cities. It was people like my grandmother, people like my aunts and uncles who were members of SCLC and NAACP, and in particular, Reverend James Orange, Mrs. Alice Johnson, and Reverend Love, who we just lost last year. So I'm duty bound to be here to simply say that it is your duty not to burn your own house down for anger with an enemy. It is your duty to fortify your own house so that you may be a house of refuge in times of organization. And now is the time to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. It is time to beat up prosecutors you don't like at the voting booth. It is time to hold mayoral offices accountable, chiefs and deputy chiefs. Atlanta is not perfect, but we're a lot better than we ever were, and we're a lot better than cities are. I'm mad as hell. I woke up wanting to see the world burn down yesterday because I'm tired of seeing black men die. He casually put his knee on a human being's neck for 9 minutes as he died like a zebra in the clutch of a lion's jaw. And we watch it like murder porn over and over again. So that's why children are burning to the ground. They don't know what else to do. And it is the responsibility of us to make this better right now. We don't want to see one officer charged. We want to see 4 officers prosecuted and sentenced. We don't want to see targets burning. We want to see the system that sets up for systemic racism burnt to the ground. And as I sit here in Georgia, home of Stevens, Georgia, former vice president of the Confederacy, white man said that fundamental law stated that whites were naturally the superior race, and the Confederacy was built on a cornerstone. It's called a cornerstone speech. Look it up. The cornerstone speech that blacks would always be subordinate. That officer believed that speech because he killed that man like an animal. In this city, officers have done horrendous things and they have been prosecuted. This city's cut different. In this city, you can find over 50 restaurants owned by black women. I didn't say minority, and I didn't say women of color. So after you burn down your own home, what do you have left but char and ash? CNN? Ted did a great thing. I love CNN, I love Cartoon Network, but I'd like to say to CNN right now, karma's a mother. Stop feeding fear and anger every day. Stop making people feel so fearful. Give them hope. I'm glad they only took down a sign and defaced a building and they're not killing human beings like that policeman did. I'm glad that they only destroyed some brick and mortar and they didn't rip a father from a son. They didn't rip a son from a mother like the policeman did. When a man yells for his mother in duress and pain and she's dead, he is essentially yelling, please God, don't let it happen to me. And we watch that. So my question for us on the other side of this camera is after it burns, will we be left with charred or will we rise like a phoenix out of the ashes that Atlanta has always done? Will we use this as a moment to say that we will not do what other cities have done, and in fact, we will get better than we've been? We got good enough to destroy cash money. You don't have to worry about going to jail for some petty. We got smart enough to decriminalize marijuana. How smart are we going to be in the next 15 or 20 years to keep us ahead of this curve? So that much like when South Africa suffered apartheid, you had Andy and other politicians that could make sure that Atlanta said, Coca-Cola, we love you, but if you don't pull out of South Africa, we're going to leave. We're not going to drink Coca-Cola anymore. Coca-Cola jumped on their side and apartheid ended. So we have an opportunity now. Because I'm mad, I don't have any good advice. But what I can tell you is that if you sit in your homes tonight, instead of burning your home to the ground, you will have time to properly plot, plan, strategize, and organize and mobilize in an effective way. And two of the most effective.
All right. Isaiah, I'm gonna start with you, man.
I pretty much agree with what Killer Mike said. You know, please, I mean, don't burn your business to the ground. As you know, as we all know, as it comes to Atlanta, that's the black capital of the world. You know, in America. So saying in America, that's the black capital in America. You know, like he said, just in the example, there's 50 black-owned businesses that are with women. Do better. Don't burn your business to the ground. Again, don't burn them. Don't loot in your own neighborhoods. Don't loot in your house. How you gonna steal from your house? That doesn't make sense. When you say it like that, don't steal from your house. Don't have these people come here and destroy the city. Don't destroy our black city. Because, you know, this, I think, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I believe Atlanta is almost 70-75% black.
Yeah, it's about
so
that.
It's around there. So, again, that's a lot of black businesses. We don't need them burned. We don't need them to even have a whiff of gentrification in these neighborhoods. We don't need that.
All right. Yeah. Remember, keep it short. Keep it short.
I'm sorry, but
keep it short.
I agree with Killer Mike. This is the time.
Yeah, and you know, it's tough, man. It's tough when a grown man gets up there and, you know, he's shooken to tears. That's tough. You know, that gets tough for me. You know, I hear it, I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is...
You hear it in his voice. You hear it.
Yeah, I mean, from the time he started talking, you know, his voice started shaking, and you know, it's tough, man. It's
But like he said, though, Sim, this is the... I just want to say this, and you can go to the next person. And Killer Mike said something that I really hope everybody that peaked. It's hard, and I want to say this is extremely hard, but this is probably the only ways for us to be better is to have a calm mind, not even have a calm mind, but this is the time to organize, to plan. They expect us to throw a tantrum. They don't expect us to think and strategize and plan. That's the key. And
okay, so let's talk about some planning. Let's talk about some planning. All right. So there's a petition going around. Savvy, I'm gonna come to you on this. I wanna know what you think about it. Okay. John Legend, Common, Jane Fonda, Natalie Portman, Taraji P. Henson. They're supporting a petition, and I don't know how many signatures are on the petition, but to defund the police department, and I don't think they mean defund it. I haven't read the entire petition. I don't think they mean defund it completely, but defund the police department and move some of that money into healthcare system and some other community programs.
Wait, sorry, defund the police
I would, you see, Sim, I'd have to see the specificities, because I don't think we can do any defunding of the police that goes outside of demilitarization, because the only unnecessary funding that I see that the police have is the militarization of the police. If anything, I think they need more funding. If they're not going to demilitarize, they might need some more funding so that they can get some mental health services included in the training. Because I did this research project, right? I was I was doing these dialogues and facilitating meetings between the local youth of different areas of Miami-Dade County and the local police that would be patrolling their areas. And it was very revealing. It changed the whole way I looked at the system and police and all of it, just all of it. And that's why maybe I come across a certain way sometimes, but ultimately my view on the petition is that if we're going to put it into other programs, the funding needs to be put into other police-related programs that work towards reforming the police, making life as an officer a bit less scary and lonely and stressful. Because if you go to therapy and you have a community of officers that is there to support you in your mental health crises and is there to support you and help you process the traumas of the job, I believe that cooler heads will begin to prevail over time, and we will start to see a decrease in the malice that the police have, because people say that there's not all bad cops, right? But what's happening is that people are just remaining their better selves at work. What happens oftentimes is you put on this uniform, you go out there, and this is what I've been told, so I'm not a cop, clearly. They say they put on the uniform, and it's like suddenly it's like a whole different mode. It's like now I'm partially a target, and now I'm looked to as a guardian by people. So when they're out there as civilians, they're more able to show you their personality. Like one of the cops I was talking to in the meeting with the children, some of the more inquisitive children that we've had, told the kid that, hey, if I see certain bodily gestures during a traffic stop, that person's getting dragged out of that car. And that seems like the kind of cop that I'd be at odds with. But then that same cop saw me out one night and then came and said hello, and he was in his plain clothes, and it was a totally different energy. And I'm like, there's a psychological accompaniment to putting on the blue, and it needs to be addressed. And then we need to put funding into therapy for these police officers. We need to put more training and longer training time before you get put in the field, right? And we need to put some in-between points in your progression as an officer before you actually get to start dispensing with lethal force. Okay. It shouldn't be your first month on the job and you're already carrying a gun and able to put out lethal force. You should be able to go along with people and never respond to situations alone, and then slowly escalate your clearances so that you don't make a mistake as an inexperienced person that takes somebody's life.
Okay, so
the petition
you
does things like that.
You talked about training, right? You know, putting money towards training. Here's my thing. Here's my thing though with the training, and training is good. Okay, it's good, but I don't think training changes your heart. I don't care. You can get as much diversity training as you want. I don't think that it changes your heart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which
but
means
this is the thing, Sim. And sorry to cut you off, but that's in reference to the cops that we're assuming are not white supremacists that are going out there intentionally killing people, right? Like if we're going to pay any credence to some of these claims that some of these are accidents, or that they perceive the threat, or that, you know, one perception or another led to the shooting, then we need to address those problems that they claim to be having if we're trying to actually, you know, get something to work. And then we can start to weed out the ones who actually have malice.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Sim, can I chime in real quick, Sim? Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah. Let me just read something real quick, and then.
Okay.
So what they're saying, you know, parts of the letter, they say the COVID-19 deaths and the deaths caused by police terror are connected and consequential to each other. This is part of the letter. The United States does not have a national healthcare system. Instead, we have the largest military budget in the world and some of the most well-funded and militarized police departments in the world, too. Policing and militarization overwhelmingly dominate the bulk of national and local budgets. In fact, police and military funding has increased every single year since 1973. And at the same time, funding for public health decreased every year. In the letter, they also state, that it jumped from 60 billion to 194 billion between 1977 and 2017. Right, that's 134 billion dollars between that time. Insisting that the money could be spent better, they say it could go towards building healthy communities, to the health of our elders, children, to neighborhood infrastructure, to education, to child care, to support a vibrant Black future, et cetera, et cetera. Isaiah, go ahead, and then I want to hear from Jazz. I haven't heard from Jazz in a while.
I'll try to make this really quick. So I do. There's a part of Savvy that I do agree with Savvy with training and certain things. But here's the thing, like what Sim just said. With that training, with longer training, comes taxpayer money having to pay for that. And like Sim said, from 1970 something to 2007. That's only 2017. It's 3 years now. That's $134 billion. And when it comes to those type of things, no, it is tough. I do agree with you, but it's tough to say that because we're taking more money from them.
No, we're not.
What's a real issue? What is a real issue is that I'm going to use kinetic. I'm going to use kinetic, for example. You have somebody that's born in Greenwich going to be a cop in New Haven. That's an issue. And if I know Gamble knows Greenwich, that's predominantly white. Pretty much all white. So when you have a cop from there that does not understand the community, that goes there and just gets a paycheck, he doesn't give a crap about the community. He doesn't care about those people in the community. He doesn't care about the mom and pop story. He doesn't care about the little kids. He doesn't care about that. What you have to do,
funding, though.
What you have to do is make it more accessible for kids in those hoods and make it more accessible for the kids in the hood to become cops, to become firefighters, to become doctors, to become nurses in those communities. And that's how you get better at that. That's how you get a better understanding. That's how you get, to me, less killings. If you have somebody that knows little Tay-Tay and know that he's not going to do that to him, that's how you get less deaths.
That was actually one of my main recommendations during the project was exactly what you just said. But I was speaking more to the point of funding at the time. Like, I agree with you.
But who's going to fund this, though? Who's funding this?
The thing is, no. Listen. Taxpayer money, sure. But all you do is reallocate the same money that's already going there and spend it on other things. It doesn't cost more. You just reallocate it.
And here's the problem with America. And this is a whole different episode. Here's the problem with America. America has always been, and they've always talked about this, we have the greatest military power. We're the greatest military power in the whole world. So when it comes to stuff like that, it's a give and take. You can't be the greatest military power and also be the greatest healthcare place in the world. It's not possible. There's, quote unquote, not enough money to do both. So they're going to take from one to make something better. That's the problem, and that's one of the issues. But that's a whole different thing. But I'll stop, Sim. So
yeah. Jazz, what do you think, man? Is it a good idea to defund?
I wrote all my thoughts down.
Okay, good.
I'm briefing to the point.
She gonna boom, boom, boom.
Gamble said it the other day when he said, in the police departments, they actually target some of the specific cops who have probably been through trauma or who've been through the service or bullied. And once they put on that suit, as Savvy said, they gain another level of power. That's in my insight of how it is. I don't feel that there should be funding going into the police department unless it is to train them for mental health issues. And I do agree with having longer training for them to be able to shadow someone. I also believe that where Isaiah said there's people who have been experienced in this, and most of the cops in the hood, they know everybody already, so they've gained respect with those people. So if you have those type of cops in the hood already, or because that's most of the time where all the drama is happening anyway, those cops are being able to be foundation for other cops because they'll show them like, yo, you don't have to be short-tempered. If you talk to these people, they can train them like that. But again, as Sam said, it's about the heart. Some people don't have the heart. They come with a hidden agenda. Okay? All right, cool. I'm going to leave that at that. I'm done with that. As far as for healthcare, I work in healthcare. I've been working in healthcare for a decade now. I don't believe unless they are going to supply our Medicaid, Medicare patients and our patients who are on SSI to be able to, if you're going to put more money in healthcare, it got to benefit the people. It don't need to benefit the hospitals and the people that are being able to supply these things because they don't need it. The healthcare is a business. You know how many doctors I work with in radiology where they want to have an MRI on the patient when they could just do an X-ray on this patient when the MRI costs a ham hock and 2 legs and the eggs and greens? What you mean?
Trust me,
okay?
I know.
This is what they do. So it's already a business. I don't feel like it should go into healthcare unless it's going to benefit the people. I have patients now who struggle to pay for $10,000 medication just for them to breathe. So if it's not going to benefit the people, then I don't feel that there should be money to be going. What are they petitioning for? Again, is it going into the communities? No. Yes, it should go to something for a community. Where the heck are the Boys and Girls Clubs? We don't have that anymore. Our kids are doing what on the street? Nothing. Our kids are riding their bikes and in trouble. Half of them selling drugs at the age of 10. So come on, there's nothing to go in these communities because you don't have the people that have the patience and the time and don't want to have the effort to put towards the community. Boom,
So you agree with defunding, and not totally defunding, but taking some money from the police department and then moving it into
they don't get paid much.
Funding something else.
They don't get paid much as it is.
They don't. They definitely don't. But I'm talking about
funding,
like military weapons, right? They're funding to buy military weapons, right? So you can move it from those type of areas. I don't know if it's something, I've got to really give a lot of thought into it and look at what the details would be. But from what they said, talking about the militarization of the police department, moving funds from, say, hey, no, you guys are not going to buy military weapons. We're going to take money from you buying military weapons and we're going to put it towards this, that, and the other thing.
Can I just say something real quick?
Somebody. I'm sorry, Gammo. Somebody said that you tripping. They do get paid. I have cops in my family. They get paid a certain limitation of money. They don't get paid a nice. If you're talking about like, oh, they get paid. No, they don't. They don't get paid. They don't.
The ones that they're talking about, Jazz, are the ones that do a lot of overtime hours as private security.
That's different.
Overtime hours.
No, exactly right. Exactly. It's different.
Okay,
Gammo, I'm not sorry. Because Gammo always says he's sorry when he interrupts, but he don't really be sorry. So that's why I had to interrupt on purpose and say, I'm not really sorry. It's just, Gammo, hold on.
I really like Jazz, yo, because she.
I'm sorry.
I let everybody.
That's funny.
Anyway, I mean, the whole. First of all, let me just say a few things. Now, I'm not trying to get conspiracy theory stuff, but one, these celebrities, they ain't gonna do shit.
Period.
The military, the police buy military.
It wasn't. They didn't say that they were doing anything. They just supported the petition. They didn't say that they were doing anything.
But it's just to get their names on. This doesn't mean shit. So if you do research on how this works, right? The 1033 military program.
No matter what, huh?
Jane Fonda is the same. The Jane Fonda is the same one.
Millions of fans watching and don't even matter. Sorry again. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't know we can't curse. My bad. I'm sorry. So this is how it works. The 1033 program was essentially the program where they allowed local and state police to buy basically outdated military gear, which is trash. It's still good military gear. It's what the military doesn't need. That's one thing, right? So, Obama, I think he so-called reversed it. Trump put it back in. It's one of those things where these presidents like Obama might try to reverse it. They're not taking that away. The police unions, they have a huge racket. It's a huge program. And also the military-industrial complex. They are never taking money away from that. So all this stuff about, let's sequester. And the thing about this is the thing I don't like about what these celebrities are saying. Now, do I agree that
it's not the celebrities? It's another group that put it out there.
I know, but
it's not the celebrities saying anything.
Right. These are what the celebrities are. They're supporting, right? For the most part, right? Most of these people, like, they're never going to get rid of or defund police or whatever. Now, you can try to put oversight, which I agree what you're trying to do, Sim. Try to put oversight on some of these police forces. Police unions try to take away some of their power. But you're never going to fully defund them or take away a chunk of funding and try to put that into training people to become whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because like Isaiah said, you have those conflict, just basically just going to create police again. So essentially what you should be aiming to do is, one, make sure that police officers pass a certain test, IQ test. Because I heard an interview with Michael Jai White who said that, and I've heard this from other stories, other people who said that if they scored highly on like a certain police test, they can't get hired as police because they will question certain things, certain policies, stop and frisk, broken window policy. They will question those things like the New York 6 or whatever, NYPD 6 was suing the police, or NYPD 12, whatever it's called, the group of NYPD police officers who are suing the NYPD because of those corrupt practices. So you can try to get oversight to make sure that there's more intelligent people being hired, more people of a certain character. I think that's what we should be pushing for, not defunding. Because again, and I know celebrities aren't the only people push it, but these same people are the same guys who enjoy police officers protecting their mansions, their homes, and whatnot. So I think a lot of them are just waxing poetic so they could be with the populace. But best believe, if even Sim looking now, I know Sim is a kingpin in Maryland. If Sim came over to the Hollywood Hills in his hoodie looking like that, and he did not have he didn't know Martin Scorsese, nothing like that, they will be the first people to call those very same police they would like to defund to make sure Sim's black butt. Hey, excuse me, sir, what are you doing? So all you guys are saying this, they're just trying to be on the right side, and they're trying to do it overly. But I think that when you think about weapons and defunding, go look at the 1033 program. You're probably never going to touch that. The military-industrial complex is supremely powerful since I don't even know when, the 40s, 30s, when I forgot which president mentioned maybe JFK who mentioned the power of the military-industrial complex and the visible ban and that stuff. So we're not getting rid of that. Ask for more oversight. Ask for IQ tests. Ask for better mentally equipped police officers that enter the force so they learn how to communicate with the people that enter. Also, ask or fight for what I said, which was all these people who want to loot and they're so-called gangsters in the hood, whatever. I said I would like a liaison program where if you take out the police officers out from this neighborhood, we employ our own gangsters, but at the time it would be reformed black men, black women, to police these neighborhoods. So the police don't have to come in there. And if our own people do anything that's effed up, let them serve time to be like, hey, you're trying to build a culture and we don't want to be connected to these people. So if something happens, maybe the guy the black dude has autism, the dude who's a crackhead who might act out, but he's harmless, we know how to handle him, right? And if anything goes on, then we'll push him to the jails. They do this in the Jewish communities. They do this in certain Asian communities in America. Let us handle it where we handle our own people. I think that's what we're fighting for. But all that stuff is
very well said, Guillermo. I agree. I agree with 100,000%.
Good job, Guillermo. Good job.
Good job, Guillermo.
What
prophet, man. Y'all don't believe me. I'm a prophet.
Hey.
Okay.
You are.
Okay.
Hey.
I'm just trying to get Sin now.
A prophet? Okay.
It's funny you make that joke, Guillermo, because actually everything you said is on the agenda I've been working on and waiting to present before you guys. So let me know when we can have that conversation and when that night is so I can
next Thursday. That. How about that? We can do that next Thursday because tomorrow night I want to do a show about a half an hour, about a 30-minute show. I don't expect everybody to be able to make it on there. I want to do a show tomorrow night about just talking to your parents talking to their kids about everything that's going on. Like how is that conversation going with a lot of people? And what do you how are you explaining it to your kids, young kids that are looking at it on TV, things like that. That's tomorrow night though, 9:00. We'll talk about that tomorrow night.
I want to ask Jazz a question though. I want to ask a quick question to Jazz as the cherry on top to that topic because Jazz, you said you have family that are police, right?
Yeah.
Do they have any membership in any sort of a police union?
I wouldn't know anything like that.
Okay. Because what I would like to find out is how the enrollment process is for these police unions, how much the dues cost that are paid into the unions, right? And what these funds are being used for, right?
Isaiah, he talking to me.
I'm sorry.
Before he say it, let me say it. Because you told him I was talking to, he's talking to me. Go ahead, Sammy.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, you got me. All right.
Hey, so where'd you find her out again? Lord have mercy.
I do want to hear what Isaiah was going to say, though.
Okay, Isaiah. You have the floor.
I can speak now? Thanks, Mama. Okay. No, what I thought that when it comes to the police union, it's like a regular union at a job. Don't you, like, when you get hired, don't you usually, like, already in the union? I thought that's how it kind of works. Because I remember when I worked, I'm not comparing my job.
I think the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police, they have, that's like the union that everyone joins, right? FOP?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think all of them, because you can show like an FOP card if you get stopped over for a ticket, and I think that's supposed to like let you go or something.
Yeah,
like
I thought it was an automatic thing. But once you leave the police academy, you become part of the union. I thought that was how it works.
I don't know if it's the same state by state. You feel me? So Florida might be one way. NYPD. I'll tell you what. One thing right now, the NYPD got something special going on over there. Okay. They got something special going on over there, and whatever they got going on is stronger than whatever they got going on in any other state. Maybe the LAPD, because they move like a mob, and I would love to be a fly on the wall during one of those union meetings, and that's actually probably what I would use the funding for, is to record and be able to audit these meetings and see what's on the agenda and what the main points are and what the goals are.
All right. Well, look, let's flip the. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jazz. After you go, I'll go.
We do in Chicago. We are governed by the union as well, but in my eyes, I felt as if a lot of people don't get paid as much as well, because when Chicago was hiring for the police department, it was signs everywhere like it was a regular job for McDonald's or something. And I found that very weird. Like pieces of paper of saying Chicago Police Department is hiring. Like I'd never seen that before. So I felt like it's so far as that. Like I didn't feel like there was any money as well within that. But I can't ask for you. If you send me those questions specifically, I can't ask for you. But I do know for a fact it is governed by the union. I do know they're paid by the union. A lot of within Chicago here are paid by the union.
Right, absolutely. That would be some very excellent information to have in order to see exactly what sort of tactics would work to see the change that we would like to affect. And of course, a part of that, Simeon, would be vetting the candidates for any enrollment in white supremacist organizations.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's we've talked a lot about this, about 2 hours, I guess. Let's flip it up a little bit. There hasn't been much music dropped during this time, or at least that we know of, right? A little bit. The only thing that I really know of that's come out, I guess, there's been some things that probably dropped. But Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist dropped the album. What was it? Friday, right? Friday that passed.
Yes.
Gambo, give me your first takes on it, man.
Alchemist, man, he's already in my top 5, bro. He got a tough song with my dude. No, not my dude, but he has some tough songs with guys like Rick Ross. He has a really cool song that I like with Tyler, the Creator. It's called Something to Rap About. Skinny Sugar's hard. Frank Lucas with Benny the Butcher's hard. Baby shit. Like, dude, I like Freddie Gibbs because he's grown. He's developed a lot since I didn't listen to him as much, but his ESGN days. And for him and Alchemist, him and Madlib just have like, because Freddie Gibbs is one of these dudes who raps about like street coconut stuff, but like Alchemist and Madlib are more of like the Mobb Deep. Alchemist and then Madlib is more like MF Doomish, Mad Villain type of vibe, and it's like a weird mix that like it's like chicken and waffles. Like if you look at them by itself, it really shouldn't mix. Even though I don't necessarily like it, but people love it, and it's like it just mixes like that. So I think it's a good album. Is it Pinata? No. Is it a Bandana? I think it's more harder than Bandana, but to me, I think it's a good album. I'm still listening to it, but the samples, the beats to me, Alchemist never disappoints, and Freddie Gibbs to me, he's getting up there to me as one, not top 10 all time, but just in terms of top rappers now. He's definitely one of the top rappers now to me, but the dude he's shown growth, man.
You know, I listened to it. I need to listen to it again because, you know, and I'm just being straight up honest. You know, at the time with everything happening, you know, my choice of music, I needed to hear something a little bit more soul stirring for me. But from what I got from it, the beats are dope. It's no doubt about it. Alchemist did it. When we listened to, I think it was when Conway's last album, forgot the name of it. I kind of thought the beats were a little uninspiring to me on that album. Right? On this album, the beats are dope. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's the reason why Conway didn't get, you know, first of all, that was, you know, I guess just an EP, and it wasn't, you know, meant to be a full project, right? Practice project or something like that, if you want to call it. Maybe all the beats got given to Freddie Gibbs, but the beats are crazy. The beats are crazy. And like you said, when you think about the two, you probably don't think about them like, yeah, I'm waiting for them to do something together. But it works. It works. And Freddie Gibbs is on point with the flow. You know what I'm saying? He sounds sharp. And, you know, and there's a couple jewels in there here and there. Now, you know, with everything going on, you know, I just didn't want to listen to somebody selling coke all day. But seriously, for real, I'm being real with you. I wasn't in the mood to listen to somebody selling coke and, you know, blasting dudes all day long. I needed something a little bit different at this point in time. So, you know, I listened to it so I can hear it, but it's kind of like, I'm gonna set this to the side for later because right now I don't want to kill my people. You know what I mean? But just from what I did listen to, you know, he said God made him sell crack so he can have something to rap about.
Yeah. but see, all right, this
I know, but I mean, from what I heard, from what I listened to, like just the flow, and he's dropped some jewels here and there. He did, right? Sounds dope. Everything sounds dope. I just need a different time to listen to it.
Right.
Because when I hear him, you know, God made me sell crack so I can have something to rap about. I'm like, come on, man. To me, I mean, because like to me, like, you know, like you, and I'm not getting on Freddie Gibbs. All right, I'm not getting on Freddie Gibbs. I think the project is dope as far musically. I think it's dope. But you talk a lot about, you know, MCs and stuff like that being fake, rappers being fake, and this and that.
Very fake.
My man AP Trader just called up, was talking about what he was just talking about. You know, what are we glorifying? What are we saying? What are we glorifying? You know what I mean? And so at this moment, and I know every rapper is not going to, you know, I'm not asking every rapper to be this positive rapper dude and all that kind of stuff. But at this point in time, that's what was going through my head. As we're talking about, let's not loot our own neighborhoods. Let's not loot our own black businesses. Let's not sell our own black people crack and cocaine either. You know what I'm saying? And let's not, and I know, you know, he probably had this album already set to go and all that kind of stuff. I get it. You know, so at this point in time, that's what my mindset is. You know what I mean? So it's like I had to set it to the side and say, maybe I'll come back to that later because, you know, that's where it is. And
the thing with me, Sim, though, is that, and this is me, because like I'm a movie head, right? So in my head, maybe it's my own mess up head, but like I've been able to take the art of things and literally cut it away from, now understand me. So yes, I'm probably an exception, right? There are a lot of people who are influenced by this negative situation. I would never go out and be like, yo, blasting Freddie Gibbs, like, yo, this is talking about selling crack, yo, get on this. I only push this to people who can literally separate the music and the art and say, this is music and art. Freddie Gibbs, who, by the way, had a baby with Eric Dickinson's wife, who's dad. Anyway, this guy's
wait, who?
living his life.
You said had what?
a baby with Eric Dickerson's daughter, excuse me, Eric Dickerson's daughter.
The running back?
He's living a very, he's a father.
Are you talking about the running back, Guillermo?
Yeah, the running back. And so
wow.
I separate the two. I understand where you come from, Sim, but in my brain, I always separate the two. It's like, I know if I met Freddie Gibbs, he would probably tell some dudes like, yo, chill out, like, don't do this. He would probably be that type. And it's like, in my head, because you know what? I watch movies and I watch De Niro, I watch Pacino, I watch Harvey Keitel, I watch some of these guys in some of the most violent movies. And I know they're playing a part in that movie. And people could have been influenced back in the day. Every rapper wanted to be called, but yo, I'm the new Don this, I'm the, blah, blah, I'm the Frank White. And it's like, all right, well, they got influenced by that. And it's like, we've never put onus on those guys. Obviously, they're not connected to the black community. But in my head, I can separate the art. And now's a weird time, and they may have released it where it's like, we didn't know. But I can separate myself from that stuff. I would never tell a little kid. I would never play this for my niece who's only like 2. She wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. I would never play for if she was of impressionable age. But if she got to the point where she can discern between the two and she's not influenced, she's like, oh yeah, he's just a rapper. He's just fun to listen to. I don't follow. I'm not going to sell drugs and stuff. Then it's like, all right, I can give it to you as art. So, the guy who called before, he's talking about, yo, live about, but I've been living as like not trying to be a statistic or conscious, whatever you want to call it, for a while. I've been doing things in my life to make sure I'm not going to go and sell crack or destroy my own people or anything like that. So I can separate the two. Some people can say.
No, listen, I get it. And that I see it a little bit different, right? I see the movies, yes. Robert De Niro, who is one of my favorite actors of all time. I love Robert De Niro. You know what I mean? One of my favorite actors of all time. All these movies and everything, I get it. But for me, personally, there's something a little bit different about the music. There's just something different, especially when they swear up and down that this is who they are and this is what they're doing. I think it's a little bit, I just see it as a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Because their whole persona is based on being true and real to you. You know what I'm saying? So when they do that and then they're making music about slinging crack and serving fiends off every night and da 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 da. You know what I mean? Then what they're saying is yes, this is my real life. Because that's what they're saying. Yes, this is my real life. And if it's right or wrong, kids do follow them. You know what I'm saying? Kids do follow them. So there is an influence there. You know what I mean? And it does perpetuate stereotypes. And it does perpetuate ignorance and destruction and degradation of our communities. It perpetuates it. You know what I mean? To me, it does. And I'm not saying anything negative about Freddie Gibbs.
Right.
I'm just saying, I believe that it still does, and that I believe that we have a closer connection to the music that we make than the movies that we watch.
Fair enough.
I believe we have a closer connection because I can look at Freddie Gibbs and say, yeah, that's my dude from down the way. That's my man from across the street. And I can look across the street and see someone that's just like Freddie Gibbs. I think that makes a different connection, a closer connection. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great point.
And so, yeah, as consumers too, because we can't just complain that they make the music, because as consumers, we are responsible too, because we go out and buy it. We say, yep, I'm about to go buy this album. The whole thing is, every single song on this album mentions selling cocaine, but I'm about to go buy this joint.
That's true.
We do it. We do it. You know what I'm saying? We consume it.
I have two things, and I'll let everybody else go. I'll shut up. Two things real quick. One, they used to be like people of a certain age go listen to music, right? Of a certain type of music. Obviously, that fell apart. But again, there was a reason to that. And, you know, I don't have children, but, you know, I've heard grown-ups literally playing rap music with just explicit curses in front of their kids. And in my head, it's like, you know, do we kill the people who are presenting this art? And I agree in many ways, because they do have execs who tell them, hey, Freddie Gibbs probably like, hey, I want to talk about not selling drugs and, you know, self-destruction. They're probably like, hey, shut up, you N-word, go make that. I'm being facetious, but they do have execs who kind of do that, Leo Cohen. So do we put the onus on the artist, or do we put it on the parents and the people who are allowing this out? And then number two, if we didn't have rap music, I'll let you guys answer. I'll shut up because I have more work to do. If we did not have rap, would we still be committing as many crimes? Because rap, I think it's like the same thing when people say, oh, video games, you know, cause people to kill and that stuff, and porn causes people to rape, which is none of those are true. And with rap music, when I look at it, yes, you might hear people getting riled up to rap, smoke a little bit of weed before they go do a drive-by, do a robbery, get the jukes, whatever. But if we didn't have rap and we had, like, you know, Elvis and little John Wayne or whoever those people were in the back still playing, I'm pretty sure you hear people bumping the stylistics before they went to go rob somebody. I just feel like rap, we've allowed the media to say rap is this, rap is that, when it's really underlying structural issues like poverty.
And I'm not. I'm not at all. Am I saying that rap caused anything? Obviously,
no, I know.
Any part of the degradation of our community has been there before hip hop was ever even thought of. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe that it perpetuates it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no doubt about it in my mind that it perpetuates
people robbing people to Kirk Franklin, like Order My Steps. I can still see people robbing people to like.
I mean, of course, people are going to do it, but I still think it goes into, you know, when I was 17 years old, I'm not going to lie to you, you know, I listened to certain things and I was like, yeah, that's all right, you know, it was cool to be an underworld dude. You know what I'm saying? It was cool to be an underworld dude, right? You know what I'm saying? I think it does help go into the mindset in the way that people, you know, some people, not everybody, but some people, and especially those, you know, when you talk about people, when you talk about predators, who do they prey on? Predators always prey on those who were weak, those who were lost, those who come from a broken home, those who come from those type of things. That's who your predators prey on, right? We talked about the police going out and finding officers that come from these type of homes so that they can bring them in and they can brainwash them to think the way that they think. The military does the same thing. Gangs do the same exact thing, right? These young people who come from these type of situations are already weak-minded. You know what I mean? So they are looking for something to follow and attach themselves to. You know what I mean? And you know, it's a slippery slope and a tough task. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because you never want to say, listen, you're an artist, you can't say this, you can't say that, because it's an art form. People can say whatever they want to say, and they have the freedom to say whatever they want to say. You know what I mean? They have the freedom to do that. I just find it funny. Though, with us as a people. I've seen somebody, you know, people come out and do something or say something positive. You know, Bill Cosby or whoever, right? Come out and say something positive, and you know, and we look at him and say, man, bullshit. Ain't about that. Turn it away. And then as soon as somebody comes out with a Coke album, I'm on that one, though. You know what I'm saying? So, I you know.
That's funny.
Jazz, what do you think, Jazz? You got yourself muted. You got yourself.
I don't think anything.
You don't like Freddie Gibbs? What's wrong with you, yo?
I'm not. I didn't say I didn't like him. I just said that I don't think anything just yet.
Give me some time. Herbo, like Chicago rap.
First of all, I don't. Not a fan. You tried it. Bring it back. Y'all on one with me tonight. What's up? What's up?
Hey, Jazz, don't worry.
And they're just getting used to you. That's all.
Man,
that's all, Jazz.
They're just getting used to you. At first, it was about, all right, you know, we got to show a little bit of respect, and then, you know.
And y'all definitely have, and now y'all out of turn.
So let's
once you part of the group.
Just blame it on Guillermo. You know who this was.
That's it. He just gave me back because I kind of shaded a bit early, a couple times today. But no, I don't think anything at all. I know.
All right. Okay. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah. So I literally just downloaded it. I'm gonna listen to it tomorrow. But to talk about what you were saying though, it's so difficult when it comes to rap, man, because it's like we associate rap with our lives. I think that's the real biggest thing is that we associate rap with our lives. Like, if you listen to most of these rappers, and this is the funniest part to me, like if you watch a rapper's interview, they will legit tell you either they have not sold drugs or they have sold drugs like 15, 20 years ago. They literally stopped selling it like 20 years ago. But that, like you said before, that's their niche. That's what they're known to do. It's like listen to Pusha T. If I haven't heard Pusha T talk about selling coke in 1,000 different ways, then you just haven't heard Pusha T rap. And if you listen to Pusha T, he hasn't done that in like 20 years.
I don't know if he's done it at all.
Push just literally, I'm looking at it right now. I just was listening to Push the other day. And in 2018, yeah, he did talk about selling dope.
No. I think what Isaiah's saying is he hasn't really done that in 20 years. He hasn't really sold coke in 20 years.
Oh, wait, hold up. But he never, hold up. He got exposed.
I don't think he ever sold coke.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
A lot of these guys.
According to him, his brother still got it going.
Yeah,
so you never
I know some people that know him that went to school with the kid.
And they said what? They said what? No, hold on. And they said he didn't sell coke, right?
What'd you say?
And they said he didn't sell coke, right?
They say he was like nerdy.
Yeah.
A little bit. He didn't sell coke.
His manager, the one that got locked up, their former manager said he got all that coke stuff from me.
All right. Can I pose a question?
But you know what? But that's just hearsay for me. That's just hearsay. So that's just hearsay.
Fair enough.
Wait a minute.
At the end of the day, if you know, you know. If you don't,
most of these rappers don't do what they talk about.
That's true. That's true, Jazz.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
I mean, but see, that's where I really have a big problem though, because we talk about using your people. You talk about Uncle Tommen. You talk about selling out. People say that selling out is making a certain type of a song, right? Oh, you sold out because you make that type of song so you can sell music. How about selling out being, no, I don't really sell drugs, but I'm going to talk about the pain of my community and make millions of dollars talking about the pain of my community, but I ain't really do that. But I'm not going to give anything back to my community either. Because like me and Guillermo was saying the other day, if I give back to my community, then I have nothing else to talk about because my streets are clean now. To me, that is the example. That is Uncle Tommen.
Well, then that's where Jigga come in, that you don't talk about that no more. You get a little political. Okay?
Here's a big issue, Sam.
And you get a little, because Jay-Z don't rap about cocaine, selling dope no more. Every now and then he'll slip it in, but he'll basically be teaching the boys like, we did what you guys talk about. And that's it. He don't say nothing else about it. He talk about what's going on in the industry. So you can.
Here's a bigger issue. Here's a bigger issue that we all know it. Who are these people trying to sell to? They use our validation, but their audience is white, so they don't give a damn if we find out.
I would like to look at the numbers now because I haven't looked at those numbers now, to see, who's buying what and when, because you're not buying CDs anymore, right? You're streaming it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of kids, even black kids too, have the pay for title, or the parents pay for title. You know what I mean? Or they just use the free portion of the service, and they're still getting paid. Like if you stream Spotify for free, they're still getting paid. You listen to it on YouTube for free, the artists are still getting paid from that.
Hey,
so it's a little bit different now when we talk about who's buying it, because you're not buying CDs no more. There's no more physical, maybe some people still buy it, but there's not this physical CD to buy anymore. Now it's streaming services.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And anyone has access to these streaming services.
there's still more white consumer sims. So even if we try to stream it, I know they have some people who do the cheating thing where they have the cell phones or stuff that like do the fake stream stuff, but still the biggest consumers are white people. It's like everybody uses it as a stamp of approval, and then they sell it out. Because if people said, yo, Pusha T is corny, then every white person's like, yeah, man, nah, Pusha T is whack, he ain't cool. So it's like they use our validation, despite the fact we're still the smallest consumer. You make up, 14% of the population? So even with the streams, I know what you're talking about, Sid.
Of course, that,
even
yeah.
Then, we still can't match up to that. So what do we do? It has to be up to us to either not allow it to be played in front of our children until a certain age, raise our children up a certain way, whatever, not play the music at all, or it has to be up to us, because these artists.
The one thing. Let me jump in here right quick, Isaiah. I'll be quick. The one thing about it, and you're gonna experience this one day if you have kids, I can guarantee it, right? While you're driving in your car, you can say, nope, we only listening to this. We only listening to that. You can't control them at school. You can't control them when they're going out with their friends. You can't control them in all these other places that they are. And I can guarantee you 100% they're going to get their hands on that music. One, first and foremost, because you told them not to. And you won't allow them to listen to it. Now they want to listen to it even more. They're going to get their hands on that music. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. My mother didn't know what I was listening to. You know what I mean? No matter what she said, if she said I couldn't listen to this or that, I guarantee you I was going to listen to it, and she wouldn't know.
Period. Because I was listening to Lil' Kim, and when my mama I'm a PK, so when they found that album, bruh, she broke it up right in my face. I still kept buying them CDs because Kim was the one. Okay, and Foxy Brown.
She was dope though. I can't lie.
But let me say this though. To chime into what Gemma was saying about the white consumer. It's and Jazz, you may know her because I think she's from Chicago. Her name is No Name. She's a rapper.
Her name is No Name.
Yeah, her name is No Name. She's
I don't know No Name.
Well, she's really
she
dope.
is.
Yeah, she's really dope. So she retired from music because she was talking about black empowerment, black this. She was really pro-black. But
better than Rhapsody?
No.
She's better Rhapsody.
No, Rhapsody's probably the top 5 best rappers.
Rhapsody's top.
All right.
Top 5 men or women. I know. Okay, Guillermo. But back what I was saying. Yo, Guillermo got his heart broken. But back to what I was saying.
What do you say?
Yeah. Said you got your heart broken.
But back to what I was saying though. So No Name was pretty much a pro-black rapper. But every time she would go on tour, it would literally be white people at her tours. She got so mad that she retired from music because she was like, what's the point of me rapping about being pro-black and pro this? Then when I go on tour, it's literally just white people at my concerts.
Yep.
Listening to my music. That's not who she wanted to target when she raps.
Right.
That's
right.
Okay. So it's not even about being negative. It's about just black people I'm not saying that they don't, because when you mess with an artist,
we support who we support. And then on top of that, certain people like that, I'm gonna be honest with you, black people don't pay for concerts like that no more, unless they're in small, in Chicago at least, that is. For example, what was that? Rolling Loud, that just I was supposed to be there in May. Now, Rolling Loud, you expect for that to be full of most of the headliners was black. That's like the Coachella of potheads, if you want to call it, even though Coachella's on another level. But again, you don't expect for them, I'm sorry, but they do pay for that. They want to be us so bad. They want to be us so bad.
My coworker who comes from is it Chengdu, China? And if you meet this girl, you would think that she's the most, excuse my language, but fobbish Asian you've ever met. And she was at Rolling Loud. She literally has an alternate persona where she likes trap music or that stuff. So I agree. I went to Freddie Gibbs, not this summer, last summer at MoMA PS1. Majority of people there, white people. I didn't go to, I wanted to. When, what's her name performed, Rock Marciano performed at Sony Hall. When I looked at the Sony Hall video, a bunch of white people. So black people is the concerts where you see the most black people. And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to draw a correlation, but it's usually outside of like Caribbean stuff. Is a lot of the ignorant rappers, these Migos and stuff, these hood rappers, they support that stuff more than some of these other guys. So
I just love the Amigos. Oh my God, I just love
a lot of our so-called talented rappers, whatever. Even back then, Public Enemy concerts had all these white people, man. So it's like,
yeah, I used to trip out. I used to trip out on that joint. I was like, yo, why do they like this joint? Like some of the stuff that Public Enemy was saying was literally, I was like,
because they want to be so bad. And if you want to be,
because I hate Elvis Presley too.
Right,
but if you take it back further, in Motown days, our people did support our music back in the Motown, but you always seen the white cultures.
Yep. But like Guillermo said, what was the word you used? What was your personology word you used?
Oh God.
Not pontificate. You used another one. You said we make it good. You know, we make it good for them. What was the word you used? We make it good for them. We make it real for them. Validate it. We validate it for them.
How was that a prison term? Yo, you see when
no, you didn't use validate. You used a different word. You didn't use validate. You used like a 26-letter word. You didn't use validate.
A 26-letter word.
It means validate.
Sim's not slick, yo. This guy, he think he's slick. Just the guy made the hoodie comment. He's gonna keep coming at me tonight, man. It's cool. Man. Y'all
Jazz brought up Jay-Z. Jay-Z and Rock Nation paid for a letter.
How many pages?
I guess an ad.
How many pages?
What'd you say?
How many pages?
Oh, how many pages? I don't know. How many pages was it? Go ahead. You tell it then. I want to make sure it's right.
It's four.
Four pages. Okay, so all right. So it's a 4-page ad. He took out a 4-page ad. Basically celebrating the life of George Floyd, right?
Yep. He did. Come on, fam. So he did.
What are you guys talking about? Like, is this a joke or is it real?
No, it's real. It's real. It's real.
Why is Guillermo laughing?
I got it on the screen now. I don't know if you guys can read it because I have it, and I could probably blow it up for you. But it says Martin Luther King. I guess it's quoting Martin Luther King Jr. Hopefully, I'm reading the right thing. The only way we can really achieve freedom is to somehow hunker the fear of death. But if a man has not discovered something that he will die for, he isn't fit to live. Deep down in our nonviolent creed is the conviction that there are some things so dear, some things so precious, some things so eternally true that they're worth dying for. And if a man happens to be 36 years old, as I happen to be, some great truth stands before the honor of his life. Some great opportunity to stand for that which is right and that which is just. And he refuses to stand up because he wants to live a little longer. And he's afraid his home will get bombed, or he's afraid that he will lose his job, or he's afraid that he will get shot or beat down by state troopers. He may go to live on until he's 80. He's just as dead at 36 as he would be at 80. And this is the cessation of breathing in his life is merely the belated announcement of an earlier death of the spirit. He died. A man dies when he refuses to stand up for that which is right. A man dies when he refuses to stand up for justice. A man dies when he refuses to take a stand for that which is true. So we're going to stand up amid horses. We're going to stand up right here amid the billy clubs. We're going to stand up right here amid police dogs, if they have them. And we're going to stand up amid tear gas. We're going to stand up amid anything they can muster up, letting the world know that we are determined to be free.
Can I just say, oh, my bad, I'm sorry.
And this was put out, I don't know how many, I guess newspapers across the nation. Am I right, Jazz?
What'd you say?
I said, and this was published in newspapers across the nation. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
And then, and then it's signed by, some people from Rock Nation and you got obviously Jay-Z, Michael Eric Dyson, the Innocence Project, Angela Rye, a lot of people, the Women's Global Initiative, the Terrence Crutcher Foundation, Rock Nation, of course, a bunch of people up there.
Yeah.
I thought we
bunch
were
of people.
done. I thought we were done kneeling. Wasn't that?
I didn't know that there was a Terrence Crutcher Foundation.
Hey,
Wow.
say it again, Guillermo. Say that crap again.
I thought we were done kneeling.
Wait. Oh my God. Can we get serious for a
No,
second?
I'm getting serious. I'm getting serious. This is why I laugh.
You say what do you mean when you say we were done kneeling?
That's what he said. Remember when with when he took the NFL deal, and it was Charlemagne the guy I think specifically asked him in that meeting or with Roger Goodell. He was like, so basically, what about Colin Kaepernick? And he said, well, we're done kneeling. Like, aren't we done kneeling? Something like that. So what's
He did.
Because he got that deal. And I'm not a Colin Kaepernick fan, but again, when every celebrity now, and I'm not saying there weren't celebrities who don't feel a certain way, who aren't truly sincere in their heart and stuff, right? But you're going to get a flood of celebrities who now want to be tied, because what Jay-Z thought was that, okay, the woke thing was happening. I was doing that for a little while, wrote the Kaepernick thing, said all this, blah, blah, got the NFL deal, got the money. Now we're kind of past the Kaepernick thing. But now he's going back to kind of in that same aura of, writing all these, I don't say emotional, but kind of, sensational pieces and all this other stuff. And it's like, it's just funny because these guys keep playing the same game over and over. They show their hand sometimes. It's like, yo, bro, I'm not trying to go back there or whatever, but it's like, when I just heard that, I said, I just rather ignore it because it doesn't mean it's whatever. He's going to say this stuff to get people back on him. People use tragedy in this country, as hard as we may take it, as hard as we may feel. Savvy just said he was a tear gas the other day. As tough as some people may truly have it, many of these celebrities, they will use this. They use any opportunity to keep their names out there. It doesn't matter. This guy was the same guy who said we're past kneeling. Okay, we're past kneeling. This stuff happens. Shouldn't you still be done past kneeling? I'm just saying, why are you writing these sensational pieces? Now everybody wants to be a part of George. Oh, I paid for George Floyd's funeral.
But okay, but let's say this though.
That's the case. I don't think that's. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
Let's be real. He's been fighting for prison reform. Have you read the multiple?
The one he's fighting with Yo Gotti, right?
Yep. They've been fighting for prison reform, and there's been multiple bills and letters and things that he's been working towards.
Not bills. He wrote multiple letters, not bills.
Right, that he's been working towards. You know what I'm saying? To help try to bring some reform. So it's not like he's just been, okay, I'm just going to sit around and then and then now, okay, I'm going to jump up and say something. He's been, for the past couple of years, he has been active. He has been active for the last couple of years. You cannot say he has not.
They didn't, it's not multiple bills. They wrote multiple letters to, I forgot.
What is your fixation with this guy, Guillermo?
We're literally, I didn't bring up Jay-Z. I don't really care about Jay-Z.
What did Hope do to you?
You didn't do anything to me. But the thing is that I've seen Jay-Z's moves. And look, if he's writing letters, whatever, that's good for him. I'm a person, do your arms in silence, but hey, it's Jay-Z. But what I'm saying is that a lot of these, and it's not just Jay-Z. A lot of these celebrities are going to ride this train with a lot of emotional stuff. I'm just saying,
he does the work, though.
He doesn't have to. The main thing is, I feel like Ho probably says something again. PR representation. That's it. Because he done plenty of stuff behind closed doors without anybody shining light on him. Because he don't like that. Again, I don't know the man personally.
That's not true.
But as a fan, I'm gonna defend my game, and I'm going to say that he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to.
Jay-Z gets his shit out there. He's not one of these guys who does his arms in silence.
He can do that.
And I ain't never gonna forget the Barclays. That's all I gotta say.
Why you never gonna forget this woman right now?
He saw J. Cole get hot. J. Cole grew out his braids all nasty and ugly.
Get out of here. That man was going through
Jay-Z said, you know what? I ain't going to comb my hair either. I'm going to do the same. Because the same guy, the Barneys and Barclays. And understand, so I ain't itching on anything he's done behind the scenes that's helped people. You said he wrote, and I know he's wrote letters. I forgot, wherever the hell
but he's participated in some, I don't know, I shouldn't have said he wrote. I shouldn't say he wrote a bill, but he's participated in.
No, right. He wrote letters.
You know, he's participated. He didn't write the bill. Of course, he didn't sit down and write the bill. You know what I'm saying? But he's participated in getting some bills, at least to be heard, that have to do with prison reform.
And that's what has to happen sometimes. Again, that goes back to what we said. Sometimes money is power, of course. But sometimes when you get yourself on these platforms, not to just prove yourself, but to also just to make a stand with power, it's your money. That's just it. He is a I'm not saying that, everybody got to follow what Hov doing. No, that's not what I'm saying. I am saying he is a good example of a black man who says what he's going to do. Because just a couple years ago, he said, I ain't going to lyrically say, but he did say the NFL wanted him, but he told them no. What he do? A year or two later, maybe 3 years later, he get a seat on their board. You know, like it's a big deal. He don't just talk.
He sold out. He told other athletes, he told other artists not to do the deal so he could do it. What are you talking about?
What's wrong with that? I would have told you.
We're talking about a guy. We're talking about a guy's integrity.
I'm gonna do it better than you.
You can't. No,
be real.
No. Stop. You can't talk about a guy's integrity. And then when he gets exposed for not having that integrity, y'all make an excuse for. Look, what Sim said. I know that Jay-Z is for him and Yo Gotti, and wherever the hell Yo Gotti's from, they fought for prison reform in that state. So I'm not saying he has not done good things, but Jay-Z is Machiavellian. The way he moves, and I'm not even hating on that. I get
no, it's true. It's true.
He's effective. All I'm saying is that when Jay-Z says some of these sensationalist stuff, he's a businessman.
I just don't see what point you're trying to make, Guillermo. Like he does the work, he says it in public.
He doesn't have integrity, so he's writing
value to leading by example.
I would tell you, if he stops writing the sensational stuff, I think it's useless because, dog, we know how you move. You just want to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you want power in your hand? Fair enough. You want to galvanize people to like you because it's that? Fair enough. But for me, I know how he moves.
But see, that's the thing.
Black people take. Y'all talk about the NFL deal. He screwed over, what was it, Big Boy, Outkast. He screwed over Goody Mob. Talked about this yo, dog. There were people. JD brought it up to him, and he was like, yo, don't do this. And then he went behind his back and he was like, yo, bro, Jay-Z, when it comes to integrous stuff like this, when you're writing about people and their debts and stuff like that.
Hold on. You saying he told him don't do what? He told him don't perform there?
Yes.
Right. So you're saying he told him don't perform, and then but Jay-Z didn't perform.
And was it Travis Scott too? He said, do not take the NFL deal when he was during his woke whatever before the.
That's Jermaine Dupri you're talking about.
Jermaine Dupri, JD and was it Outkast? It was Outkast, and I think because Big Gip was talking about this in one of the morning shows that he does in Atlanta or was featured on. And Jay-Z then took the same deal the next year and then did this last past Super Bowl. So look, I'm not hating on him. Jay-Z is a successful enterprise unto himself. I like people when they are clear cut and be like, yo, I'm a biz, blah, blah. Do your thing. But the sensational stuff is like, yo, bro, let's just get, because we know it. People try to say, oh, well, a black man has changed and, we should take him as an example as a black man who's, it's like, yo, dogs.
Don't use my words against me.
But you know what?
I'm not trying to shit on your words, Jazz.
But see, what I'm saying is, we talk about people. Like we would talk about James Dolan. He does not know our issues. We don't need him to speak up and do it. We don't need it, right? We talked about Drew Brees earlier today in a little chat. But now we're talking about someone, and I don't know what all of his motives are, right? I can't speak for him. I'm not in his mind about what all of his motives are. But he is participating in helping to bring reform to issues that affect us. You know what I mean? Does Jay-Z really need to do that to bolster his image?
Yes.
To make fans like him? To make fans buy? Does he need to do this to make fans buy his music? I don't think so.
Yes. Sim, do you understand? Do you know about the Q
music
scores?
Out though.
No. Hold up. Do y'all know about Q scores?
You said what?
The Q scores, right? And it was a few years ago when they measured Jay-Z's Q score amongst was it 18 to 25 or whatever? The people who still rapping to, or 18 to 31, it might be that. His Q score is not that high. So when you talk about sales and that stuff, first of all, Jay-Z is not a billionaire, right? It's these projections. He's still trying to make money from the title, from a lot of his enterprise is still tied to music, and he needs a captive audience. And if you can get that by people like you, obviously he has artists who other people like. So Rihanna, whatever, people are going to like Rihanna who may not even care about Jay-Z. But Jay-Z's still trying to be relevant amongst a certain demographic, and in music. So anything that looks like, and I'm not trying to be facetious when I say this, but anything that looks, lack of a better word, woke, it is going to, trust me, when J. Cole went down to Ferguson, and I'm not even hating on J. Cole, I think he's a talented artist, even though I'm not the biggest fan of his anymore. When J. Cole went down to Ferguson, after that, his aura, it blew up. Now, was he big already? Yes, but he was not as big as when after he came out from Ferguson with the, now he has the Bohemian dreads, whatever. Jay-Z literally took that blueprint, which he's done in the past with other artists. And I'm not even hating on that. Young Chris, Nas, he's taking other people's styles and he's implemented that into his own. And he's doing that now to ride the woke wave. I'm not even hating on that per se, but Jay-Z has intentions. And it's like,
I just don't know. Jay been doing stuff. You know, obviously it wasn't always in his music. We know
you know what's
that.
funny? Every time you say Jay's been doing stuff, no one ever brings up the Barney stuff or the Barclay stuff. It's funny. Everyone talks about all the good Jay-Z, the so-called done. But when he was in positions of power where the woke stuff was not hot, he did a lot of foul stuff too. I'm not talking about other rappers. I'm talking about,
you know what? I'm not denying that he's done it, but I'm not gonna knock him down for things that he's doing right now.
I'm not knocking him down. I'm only knocking down for the letter. The prison reform stuff, I celebrate. If he gets bills passed, trust me, as much as I don't like Jay-Z that much as a rapper anymore, I will be the first to say, yo, salute to Jay-Z for bringing in a bill, for getting a bill passed that actually changed prison reform. I'll give him that credit till kingdom come, because that's real stuff. F the music. F all these other stuff. That's real people being able to not be oppressed by the system if they're being so unfairly. But again, I'm going to criticize everything he does. Look, if people kill me in the chat, if Rock Marciano or Nas did this, I'm going to say the same crap too. And I've criticized Nas for some of the things he's done in music. I'm not afraid to do that. But I'm just saying with Jay-Z, people, I want to say a messiah figure, they elevate this guy up to something where it's like, yo, we should all be like, I'm like, dude, you got to see all these dudes' moves. I'm not sure we should be telling people, yo, be like Jay-Z, because he's cut a lot of people.
I don't think anyone's saying tell people to be like Jay-Z. Nobody's saying that.
You just said he's a black, you just were making a point of him being a black man. I said
he's a black man doing something for his community. I didn't say anything about be like Jay-Z. I said he's a black man that understands our issues and is doing something about, is helping to do something about our issues. I didn't say, hey, go be like Jay-Z.
We know he crooked. We know that they got some crooked. His wife even got some crooked ways. But again, we ain't gonna knock him. Because sometimes you gotta play dirty. Don't act like you ain't never played dirty.
I ain't playing dirty against my own people, bro.
Well, you put Isaiah to sleep, Gammo. Good job.
That's a crazy thing.
It's a good job, okay? It's a good job, all right?
What are you saying?
Isaiah was going to sleep anyway. Isaiah was going to sleep anyway. Ain't no doubt about it.
Isaiah had a comment to make like an hour ago before Gammo ran away with the conversation.
First of all, I wasn't going to sleep. I was resting my eyes.
Boy!
That's what my mother used to say. My mother used to lay on the couch, and I turned the channel, and she said, "Who told you could turn the channel?" I said, "You was asleep. I wasn't. I was resting my eyes. I was listening to it." That joint used to make me
bless Mama Sim, because she was right. I'm going back to rest my eyes, y'all.
I studied communication science in college. Let me tell you what Gammo is right now. Gammo is a conversational hijacker. Okay, Gammo's one of those people that's like, oh, do you want to know why? Well, I'm going to tell you why, buddy. And now you lost all control of the conversation. Yes! He's completely gone. You can't get it back. You're making plans for after you're trying to make your escape, looking for the door. You're like, damn, how did I get here? Like this man's been talking, and I'm just like, yo, like, whoa.
You don't even want to say what's next.
You don't even want to talk no more.
Just don't be mad. Look.
First, I'm gonna give you my opinion on Alfredo real quick because I didn't get to, right?
Oh, okay.
I thought it was a good conversation y'all had about him actually having sold the drugs or not. I was going to ask, is it worse or better? Like, if you haven't actually done it and you rap about it, right? Is that worse than you've done it and you rap about it?
To me, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's way worse. I think it's way worse.
I agree, right? Tell me something. Someone whose life is like that, right? When you go into the entertainment industry, right, and they seek to to monetize like the black suffering, right? And you've got plenty of black suffering in abundance, right? To me personally, I don't see a problem with monetizing your suffering if you do something like what Freddie Gibbs did, where he dropped the album, he saw what was going on, he saw what the climate was, and he put a lyric on the T-shirt and said, all the sales from this T-shirt is going to go toward this cause.
Okay.
To me, that's the way you do that, because you're speaking the truth, and you're also contributing your way to the cause. I feel like the real problem is that there is an imbalance in the content that we get in hip hop that gets marketed a certain way, because it all tends to veer toward that sort of content, right? And so what I feel like would be a good thing is if we could gain more ownership and market share over our own music industry of hip hop, then we could promote a wider variety of content from artists that have positive content, introspective content, party music. I feel like all of it needs to be existing somewhere. But for now, you just gotta search a little bit harder to get that positive stuff. And a lot of rappers who pick up the mic are gonna choose to first go the gangster rap route, because for some reason that's just the first type of rap everybody thinks about, because of the proliferation of the marketing of gangster rap music. You see?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Nah, I mean, what you said with Freddie Gibbs about, the shirt and everything. Nah, definitely. And
is there
definitely
is there a value in leading by example if you're somebody like Jay-Z who was doing work before the Khalif Browder documentary? The Khalif Browder documentary came out, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know he was doing this, right? And then after that, I started to see him publicize more and more his philanthropy. And I feel like when all of that started to come out, I started to see other artists do it too. And not only that, I feel like Nipsey Hussle played a bit of a role too, because when he saw how activistic Nipsey Hussle was in conjunction with his personal music grind, like it was an all-in-one life endeavor for Nipsey Hussle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that's the real archetype prototype mold that we should be pushing, like rap as activism. Like, sure, you come from a dark past, but you could do this, and you can go be a public figure and make it known publicly how you feel, because you have fans who are looking to you as like a role model.
And
right?
listen. I mean, it's artists even like Conway. If you follow him on Instagram, you see that there was a little girl who was giving away food for COVID-19, right, or collecting food so that they could donate it to wherever. He rolled by, he donated however much money to him. He donated some food and some things like that. He's constantly posting about. He's not saying black businesses on there, but constantly posting about supporting local businesses.
He was out there the other day.
He goes to local businesses, and this is something I really respect. And I have no idea, the color of the people of the places that he's going to. But he'll go to a local business, purchase the food, and then stand outside the business and take a picture, support local business. Now that's big right there. You know what I'm saying? And from what I understand, I don't know. Maybe they're giving him some money for it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But he's going to, a bunch of different places every time he orders out or something like that, to support local businesses. That's good stuff right there.
I agree.
He was feeding workers the other day, COVID workers. I think he had on his Instagram too. He was, and you can see they all had like the mask and everything, but yeah, he was feeding, I want to say, I don't think it was Buffalo's, I don't know, Upper New York or wherever. But yeah, he does go around, he does like do whatever he can in his, his own abilities. So.
Yeah. And the little girl that he helped out, how Conway got shot in the face, so his mouth is that way. I think she had cerebral palsy, so her mouth was kind of like that too.
Wow.
Yeah. But all right, last thing for the night, man. About 10 minutes left. The NBA is gonna come back.
It's gonna be. Did you see it?
I didn't even see what the plan is. The NBA is coming back though.
13 Western Conference teams, 9 Eastern. I'm confused. Like, and then was it 9 games left? I sent the link to you earlier.
Oh, yeah, I saw that link.
Yeah, I think
there's 13 teams from the West, 9 teams from the East, and then there's a play-in tournament for the 8th seed.
Right. So I guess in the East, the only team that they felt were worthy of trying to have a play-in were the Washington Wizards, right? Because they were in the 9th seed. Right? It was the Washington Wizards because they're in the 9th seed, so they'll be able to participate in a play-in. And then the other teams out in the West, you know, because there were a few teams within however many games of the 8th seed are going to be able to, you know, do a play-in. 22 teams.
I don't want to hear LeBron James, if he wins this, I don't want to hear him use this as, oh, that makes me better than Jordan. Like, yo, dogs, they should have just ended the season, bro. This, like, come on, man. This is now you're gonna get a bunch of guys as so-called hurt as they were before. You're gonna have a bunch of guys who legit might get hurt. I'm talking about ankle, hamstring tears. Like, dude, you can't. You have to play warm-up games. We don't know how these guys have been training. Everyone's on their own different stuff during COVID, whatever. And I really don't understand how the NBA PA signed up to do this. If you're trying to protect your players, how the hell do you sign up to do this when you're jeopardizing your players' long-term financial whatever, earning power, whatever. And also, aren't the TV contracts supposed to be going down? So if
I'm not sure about the TV contracts.
So the next, is that football? It might be football, but yeah, I think it's football. But I thought the salary cap was supposed to be going down for basketball, but it could be football. But even if you mess up the earning power for your players, bro.
So how is this going? All right, I'm assuming that they're going to have a training camp, right? It's supposed to begin July 31st. That's when it's going to restart. And if there's a game 7 of the NBA Finals, if there's a game 7, it'll be scheduled for October 12th. So let's say it goes to a game 7. When is the next season going to begin? Because that's around the time that the next season begins. Usually at this time you're playing preseason games.
When is it supposed to end, Sim? When is it supposed to end?
Game 7 of the NBA Finals, if there's a game 7, would be October the 12th.
Doesn't the regular season start the next week?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The regular season begins the next week. How is that going to work? So now the next season is going to be pushed back. Maybe the next season is only, when there's lockout years, sometimes you don't start until after Christmas or something like that. Maybe next year will be a shortened season or something.
Well, the only thing is that you have to see who they're competing with, right? Because during the NBA season is the football season. So you give a lot of power to football season, but then if you push it, now you'd be competing with MLB. And MLB is the number 3 sport in the U.S., I think. So, but then you also think about the TV. Like, do you want? So I'm trying to think of the overlap between TV networks who show both the NBA and MLB, because because ESPN shows those games, MLB games, especially on Sunday night. But then NBA, if it's in the summer, will also be on in the night as well too. So, I don't know.
So they're saying in the YouTube chat, it looks like Christmas would be when the next season would start.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
So you have 2 more months. So November, essentially just 1 month, right? November,
yeah. So this is what I'm reading now. It says if all goes to plan, the 2019-2020 season will conclude on October 12th at the latest. If the 2020-2021 season begins around Christmas, like the Board of Governors are considering, then the offseason will shrink to 2.5 months. And that time, the NBA will have to squeeze in. This is what they have to squeeze in during that time. So this means the draft isn't going to be till sometime in November, right? They got to squeeze in the draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that's more than a one evening event. Teams will need to hold workouts, interviews with prospects. In addition to the NBA's combine, they got to squeeze in free agency, awards, summer league. There won't be a summer league. I guess it'll be a winter league instead of a summer league. They'll probably they'll have some kind of winter league, training camp, preseason, and then they'll have to start.
Wait, when are Olympics?
That's too much.
When are Olympics?
When are the Olympics?
Is that 2022? I never know when the damn. Is it what,
And it like every 3 or 4 years or something like that? Or every 2 years? No, it's every 5 years, right?
No, every 4.
Every 4 years.
4. I thought it should be even, right? So I get. So wait, yeah, 2020 wasn't going to be Olympics, right? I'm just saying because if you because whatever the Olympic year is, that will be a mess if they try to push us into the summer next year. If the Olympics are next summer, right? So Schreiber said no Olympics this year, so they push it next year. Oh Lord, he said next summer.
Next summer. So I'm assuming though, if they start in around Christmas, they'll probably do a shortened season, so then everything ends at the same time. You know what I mean?
This is gonna be sloppy, man.
And yes, that's right. I remember they were the Olympics were supposed to be this summer, and they pushed it to next summer.
So when does the NBA usually end?
They usually end in June.
You push that into July?
The finals usually end in June, but I'm thinking if they start in December, just like I don't want to say a few years ago, but when there was a lockout and we started, maybe it was 2010, 11 or something like that. And we started, well, not we, but the NBA started after Christmas.
Yeah.
Right. But then they only played 66 games or something like that.
Right.
Actually, I think it was Christmas Day because I was at a Christmas party and we were watching the game. So I think it was the day of
Christmas.
Yeah, I think they made it into a thing like basketball for Christmas.
So now you're gonna push that into July, which is the middle of. They might have to shorten the NBA season next year.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they'll probably shorten it, do 60 games or something like that, and then that way you still have the NBA Finals in June, and everything goes back to being on a normal schedule.
Can you think of the negatives that might happen from any of this? Because I see this being a disaster for the NBPA, man. NBAPA, because whenever, I don't know, when is the next, what's the name done? The next deal, whenever that comes up, that might be it. Yeah, I think the NBA were talking about the next TV contract is going to be lower for these players. I think we were talking about that on the MBK one time. Like literally recently, we were talking about like the cap is supposed to be coming down because of like the TV contract. They wanted to redo the TV contracts because all those contracts of yesterday were just way too big and absurd. So,
yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, a lot of things. I mean, you look at right now with since we've been having protests and all that kind of stuff. I think someone said there was however many thousand new cases of coronavirus in one day, 20,000 new cases in a 48-hour span or something like that, where people were diagnosed, right? So there could be an uptick. Right, and then I mean, who knows what kind of testing? I guess I'm assuming that they're gonna have they're gonna need some kind of a 14-day period, quarantine period before they go to Orlando. And then I mean, the scariest thing for me is that they're all in Orlando in one big hotel and they're all playing in one arena, and they get a breakout of COVID-19.
And also, some people are at marches. Dame Lillard, Steph Curry was at a march today. A few of these plays, they just not rolling off my head right now, but
yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns was at the town hall with Steven Jackson.
I think Dirk Nowitzki was randomly helping out to put together a brick wall or something like that. But
yeah, it's going to be I don't know, man. We'll see how it's going to work out.
Hey, more notoriety for my Mets, man. Let's go, baby. No one likes baseball? All right. Get it.
We'll see how that's going to work out. It's going to be good. The Mets. but at being a Knicks fan, now we got to wait forever to find out when do we draft and all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wait, when did? Oh my gosh! Oh, I didn't even realize. Oh man.
Yeah, now we gotta wait up. We gotta wait for all that time just to find out.
This is terrible. No college games, so
yeah, man. It's gonna
These kids, they might have to open up. Maybe they open up the G League because, honest to God, how the hell is a kid like LaMelo, Anthony Edwards? They legit need some type of season before they even play it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I guess they'll still maybe have some kind of, if they do the draft in November, then maybe early December they have some kind of league or something like that. Who knows? Or maybe they just go straight into training camp. I don't know.
Oof.
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be something crazy. Well, it is. We've been on for about 3 hours, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long one.
Yeah.
It's been a long one. I'm about to head up out of here. I'm about to head up out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys. Any last words? Last things you guys want to throw out there?
Nobody better call Sim a sellout or imply that. Watch your mouths, man. Because Sim has been anybody would say that, he's the one that came here, he's doing all the town hall stuff. He's going up saying he's working with politicians, even if they might be two-faced. So even if, God forbid, he doesn't lose in the end, but even if he doesn't get stuff passed, you have no right to call him a sellout or question his activities, man. So just
somebody did that, man.
Somebody did, bro.
He tried to say, oh, I said, I hope you don't sell out. Man, dog.
Yeah, somebody did that. I was like, really? Really? Because he didn't like my take on Dolan, but like, really?
Whatever. People really, you know what? You know what's crazy? Me and Sim, we had a whole thing talking about Dolan, right? And Sim was actually on the other side where he was a little bit disappointed that Dolan didn't come out. Not say you're all the way disappointed. And I was surprised when you came out with the video and then you were like, but I was surprised that people were legit coming at you and like, Dolan should. I'm like, dogs. Like,
yeah. No, I was never disappointed that he didn't say anything. I was never disappointed. I was never disappointed that he didn't say anything.
You sure about that?
Huh? I'm positive about that. I think when we were in that group chat, you got to go back and look at the group chat.
Okay, all right.
Because I think you were talking about Dolan, and I was talking about athletes and entertainers, not Dolan.
Okay.
Yeah, I was never disappointed at Dolan. I don't want Dolan to say anything. I care less about James Dolan.
I really so I take that back. I'm just surprised at how many people really thought James Dolan should be that, man.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, he's, he don't speak for me. Like I said, he wasn't there with me when I was drying my socks in front of the oven.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't even know who was the owner of the Knicks. I was just like, all right, my Knicks are good. Patrick Ewing is killing it. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I know what you're saying, but if you go back and you look, I kind of I was going in a little bit different direction because I asked you, I was like, when did I ever say Dolan was such and such?
Okay, all right.
I was like, when did I ever say that about Dolan? I don't know.
What did Savvy just call me? A conversational hygienist or hijacker?
Hijacker.
A hygienist.
Sim thinks he's slick.
Ooh.
I'm looking at Sim's face. I'm going to check back these texts because he's smiling at me.
No, go check it.
He's trying to twist the words around
go check it because we were talking about Dolan and then you were saying stuff about, entertainers and this and that. And so, and you were talking about Dolan, but I started talking about entertainers, not Dolan.
Okay, all right. If that's the case, then, because
you know what I'm saying?
Smiling. I know. Because he may have called me up where he may have thought that at first, but his words didn't say that, so he could have taken it back. Like,
nah. You can go in there and look and see what I asked you. Like, when did I ever say this about Dolan, that about Dolan? Because I care less about Dolan.
All right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hoodie Sim is dangerous, man. You can't be Hoodie Sim.
Conversational hygienist.
I'm saying hijack. Why would I say hygienist?
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm out of here, man.
That's funny though. All right, y'all.
We're gonna let Guillermo go study some of them prisonology terms, so he can come back on with some new joints.
All right.
Show us the trick knowledge.
Peace, y'all.
All right, peace, y'all. Appreciate all you guys for being on here with us, man. I do want to leave you with one last thing. My man Triborough, I seen it on his Instagram. And he had some action items for us. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these action items up. I'm not going to read them out to you. You can read them. Take your time and read through these action items. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about taking action. Some of the things you may agree with, may not agree with. Some of the things maybe you can do, can't do. But just take a look at it. You know, and check out Triborough on Instagram, and you can see all of the action items on his Instagram. All right? Action items, ladies and gentlemen. Take action. Don't let it rest. Take action. I'm out of here, man. Peace.